everything ready and definitely not put together at the very last minute for the live stream that we have planned weeks in advance.
Oh yeah, we've definitely planned this weeks in
Oh
advance.
yeah.
Weeks in
Oh yeah. I definitely
advance.
didn't just start writing the doc in the last 2 minutes.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I
Absolutely
know.
not. No, we are professionals. We do things
Mm.
professionally, and we are live. Thank you first off to Randy Parker for the $10, starting off nice and strong. Welcome everybody to the Making Awesome podcast. This is episode 247, where Grant had an SSD at 9% duty cycle and life left, and has realized that it is very, very difficult to rebuild an SSD from scratch.
This is why everybody in the chat repeatedly tells you not to buy dodgy second-hand hardware.
This was a brand new SSD. It's just from 2018. And
with 9% life left.
I do a lot of backups. And good sir, drives like this
Oh, damn, that's an old
S3710, which has a life cycle measured in petabytes, and it's only an 800 gig SSD. This is not dodgy used. It is used, but it's not dodgy. This is quality stuff. These are expensive.
Grant, mine of them was my first SSD I ever got, and they died years ago.
A 3710?
Yeah.
Oh, they're rated for quite a few petabytes.
Yeah. So the NAND on it is rated for it. The controller isn't. So the controllers die.
Well, Jacob, these are what we record to. These are not ones that were in my PC. No, they're good.
Please tell me there's no data on there.
No.
Good. Because you're just saying they're failing, and if there's like...
No, these aren't failing, you ding-dong. These are other ones.
Oh, I thought they were the failed ones.
No. The one that's failing is a SanDisk SSD Plus 480 gigabyte from 2018 that I've used since 2018. It's fine. I am now on a 1 terabyte.
Still in your PC?
It is connected via USB. And that's the only reason we were able to stream today, because I was able to pull the app data off of it so that we could put it onto the new thing. Basically, Grant's working on things.
You have a NAS. Why don't you just pull everything off the NAS with a RAID backup, so it doesn't matter what dies?
We don't actually have a proper NAS, and that's something that I'm working toward.
Wait, really?
Really? Yeah. So.
I thought you... But what? But you've got like 20 terabytes of attached storage.
Yes. It's just in another computer. It's not technically a NAS. It's not an array.
That's a NAS. Is it running true NAS or like one of the other open source NAS? Ron?
Jacob, we will discuss this after stream because Grant's stupid. And Grant's just figuring things out as he goes. But I have a Geiger counter here with me, or let me rephrase that. This is a Amazon special radiation detector, which is basically a crappy GR tube Geiger counter, and we will be testing something later in this stream because I think I unknowingly bought something that was radioactive.
Jonathan saying that it's running Windows and it's shared via the Windows SharePoint. Oh my God, Grant, we're going to have to talk to you about network security after this. You're going to have a little intervention.
Jacob, it's all offline. Network security is not an issue here.
No, it's not about external attacks. It's about what happens when your data dies.
We keep backups of everything. Don't worry.
Where's the backups?
Where are the backups? On dedicated backup drives. So I have dedicated backup drives here. And then every now and then, Jonathan gets a copy of it, and then he pushes up to a cloud server as well.
So what happens if one of those drives die? Can you rebuild?
Yes.
So you are running at least some form of like RAID system?
No, we just have multiple drives.
That's not how it works.
Look, man, I'm just working here. Sporluck's got it. Dedicated backup drives hidden in the litter box. Yes. Yeah, the last place they'll look is the litter box. It's literally full of crap. Yes, we do need to build like a proper like RAID system. I am Hi 45 Drives. I don't know if you're actually watching this, but hi. Sponsor us, please.
This podcast is not sponsored by Unraid, but at this point, it might as well be.
But it is sponsored by Construct 3D, UK's fastest 3D printer, the first bamboo 3D printer, and 3D printers that are built for business class environments for your business. Starting at $14,950 for the brand new Construct 2, you can get a machine that can do upwards of 8 kilograms per day without any like crazy temperatures or losing quality or having issues with things like that because, you know, engineering. And if you do want to check them out, heck, it's even got the lights out production unit, so you can actually feed 8 kilograms a day through your machine so that you don't have to stay up all night. Not that we ever do things like that. That would just be irresponsible. And you wouldn't do things like that.
You know what is great for, though? Last minute printing.
Is great
when
for
you have to pull out an entire job out of your ass and you only have one machine left and it can pull it.
What you pull out of your ass is between you and yours. You can check them out, Construct-3D. Links are in that description down below. Thank you as well to Printed Solid for sponsoring the filament giveaway, which you can get, and the pinned chat message. You know, if you want to win some filament here in the US, it is USA only, but if you do win and you are in the UK or the EU, we'll get you a shirt or something like that. So,
which is funny because actually today I am wearing a shirt. It's just covered. There you go. Look at that one.
I got one too.
I love this shirt. Yeah, make sure you enter into the giveaway because then you might get a shirt if you're in Europe.
So yesterday we were at Maker Faire Orlando.
Okay.
So, you know, there's a lot to talk about there. You know, we saw Joel was there, Frankly Built was there, Willow was there. You know what's really funny? Willow Creative is a fellow Florida lad, I should say. She's a Florida woman. Okay. She lives like 40 minutes from me, and we have never met. In all these years, we've never met. So we ended up meeting for the first time in Orlando. But it was because of Alan at Maker Faire Orlando. He was on our live stream for the Core 1L, and he's like, "Can you bring this on Saturday?" I'm like, I guess I can. And we brought it. We brought the Core 1L with us. In fact, it is still in the back of Amber's car because we got home at like 2 o'clock in the morning and I didn't want to take it out then. But I will say with that machine, it drove in the back of a car for 2 hours. We plopped it up on a table at the Maker FX booth, started a print. Perfect. No issues. No nothing. Simple. Yeah. It's pretty great.
Good. I will say that's like the nice, like big change that has come to most printers now is now that they're doing nozzle probing, not just like inductive, like distance probing.
Yeah.
All of those issues of just like minor, like bed tramming or just the printer like not being the same, it's gone. Like that is probably the biggest silent quality of life improvement,
dude,
that has hit the industry.
So there was one problem, and it was my fault. Nothing actually went wrong, but when I was carrying the machine out to the car, I put the roll of Prusa inside of the machine, so it's just like on the bottom of the machine. Every time we accelerated or braked, the roll would slide back and forth and hit the back of the printer or hit the acrylic. Nothing broke. It's fine. But I laugh because that doesn't really happen in the Core 1 because of how much smaller the Core 1 is. With the Core 1L, the spool is able to move a little bit. Like, it's able to move quite a bit. And so you hear it slide and then bonk, slide and bonk. And so, yeah, if you guys hear my voice is a little scratchy, it's because I've been talking all day yesterday to people. But I got that great podcast voice to come right into your earwaves. We're here with the Making Awesome podcast. Yeah. I don't know.
Please somebody clip that. Everyone knows exactly which bit to clip in that, but there's just...
God damn, now I know what you're talking
words.
About. Well,
there you go.
I clicked the button for you.
Thank
I hate you now.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was a mistake on my part. Anyways,
Oh, it's always a mistake on your part.
so the big thing with the Core 1L here has been this part. Boy, the internet gets salty when you kind of troll them a little bit. It was very funny. So, people had asked us to run a VFA test on the Core 1L. But I was very specific in the way that I took my photos. So,
Okay.
I took my photos with harsh downlighting. Harsh
Okay.
downlighting, okay?
Okay.
Which means that you see everything, including, the little inconsistencies that you get when layers don't align properly. It was like, oh, this print looks like shit. YGK's like, wow, we're back to machines that have, wood grain texture. And I'm over here like, have you all seen one of these from an original Core 1? Like, this is 90+% better than the original Core 1.
Hold it up to camera, because this is the first time I'm seeing that. Actually,
so you got some VFAs down there at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
You've got some right there, but like
you've got a speed band. That'll be motor resonance right there.
Exactly.
And then it fades away. And then you end up getting to the speed bit where everything's spinning so fast, you don't get motor resonance and the belt resonance goes away as well. That is actually fairly good. Do you know what speeds they were in that band?
It's the VFA test from printables.
Yeah, but
so
what speed is that bit in that?
I don't know. Every 5 millimeters, the speed changes. So somebody asked me to measure the actual belt path, and since I just got this part from the garage, I can measure it. The resonance is 1.4 millimeters. So it's not in a 2 millimeter in a 2 millimeter resonance. So, and yes, while it does look to be some level of belt resonance, this is, it's just part of the deal. You're gonna hit resonant frequencies of your printer. It's just part of the deal. But people are like, oh, it has VFAs. I'm like, have you seen one off of an untuned? Have you seen one out of an out-of-the-box Core 1? Have you? Because, my God, it wasn't good. When you compare it to this, it is tremendous, right? I firmly believe, like, I don't think you're going to get a test like this and see no VFAs on any printer. And if you do, it's not running steppers, it's running servos.
So, Faceblub and Marcel have said it's below 100 millimeters per second, which that band was in. And Marcel has said 60 millimeters per second. That is exactly what I thought it would be, because 1.8 degree steppers, their resonance band on a I know, but 1.8 degree, their resonance band is roughly 110 to 125 millimeters per second. Like, you have that little band.
Yep.
All you do is you half it when you go to a 0.9. It's really good for high-speed printers because you're always above 60 millimeters per second. But when you're going to look at the minutiae of things, you can sometimes hit into that. But yeah, high-speed printers never really hit that, so you end up pumping it above. There is, however, a new setting in Orca Slicer that is speed-aware, like, movement.
Well,
so you give it a band.
I can't use Orca.
I can't use Orca
because there's no profile for the Core 1L. You ding dong.
It will.
I use Prusa Slicer for my Prusa printers. It's what I've always done.
There should be a setting in there. If not, it is in Orca for everybody else who doesn't have a Core 1L. That there is a speed gap, so you can actually tell it a minimum speed and a maximum speed. So I've got mine on pretty much every 1.8 degree stepper motor set to 95 millimeters per second and 125 millimeters per second. So anything within that speed boundary, it will automatically lower it or raise it, because you do not want anything in that speed gap because you get motor resonance. And that is like a really nice software fix for a hardware problem.
So, and it's funny because as soon as other people release videos, like YGK released a VFA video, and then a couple of days later, Stefan of CNC Kitchen released his, and I'm putting big air quotes over review, because these machines have not been in people's hands long enough to do a real review, and I'm sorry, but calling it a real review is, it's not right, but whatever, it gets views. You can look at his views versus my views, and look, it is what it is. But he said that he got rid of all of this by changing his outer wall speed. So this is bone stock Prusa slicer settings. And for a lot of you that know Prusa printers, you know that their like bone stock settings are very conservative. They're so conservative, they think Fox News is for liberals. Okay? It's very conservative. You can run the machines much faster. And, at least in my case, what we've always done is we run our outer walls much slower. So even on Bamboo has their outer wall set at like 200, which is way too fast. And their inner walls set at like 300, which, honestly, you end up getting flow rate capped on Bamboos.
They never get that fast because they normally set at 140 because of flow rate cap.
Right, you get flow rate capped. And yes, the Core 1L comes with both a hardened nozzle and a high flow nozzle. The high flow is installed, hardened nozzles in the box with the machine, so you get both options, which is nice to see. Yeah, if you compare this to a regular Core 1, nah. But the picture that everybody saw, Jacob, was that.
It look bad.
No.
That doesn't look bad at all.
You see the shadowing?
I can see why people will be like, ooh,
yeah.
Oh, that's bad. Bearing in mind, I am used to doing all my analysis like this. Like, literally, the side light that is lighting up my face right now is a 40-watt cob panel, and I put that quite high up, set it to maximum brightness, so it is a very truncated light source, and I think I should have somewhere around here. Oh, I don't have it on hand. I must have lost it. Honeycomb. So it's like like on a laser.
Yeah. One of the grids.
Yeah. You get honeycomb grid. You put it on it. It truncates the light, so it's
correct.
A very uniform light source, and that's how we do a lot of our analysis on print quality. So I'm used to seeing that. That's good quality. That's more than a pass in like my eyes. And the VFAs aren't bad. Like, yeah, you've got resonance bands, but you're never going to get rid of that while you use stepper motors.
Right. And I totally agree. So I haven't got them off the machines, but I ran the test on other machines. Oh my God. Some of our machines are bad. Like, really, really bad.
Do you have any proof? I'd love to see comparison.
I don't.
Everybody knows
they're sitting on the machines. I will take like proper photos of them later and post it online. So just follow me on Twitter or something. But when you like, I wish I still had the one from my OG Core 1 before I started like messing with things, like in its shipped orientation, because I think that is what matters. We want to look at shipped orientation, and this is damn good for an untuned shipped machine. Now, there was some tuning done. Did you see the video? So Joe sends me a video.
I saw the one that Joe put on Twitter.
Joe sent that video to me the night before saying this was too funny not to share. And I thought that was just a video between us. And then I wake up to the fact that he had posted it, and there were a lot of people kind of like enjoying it, and they're like, how has he never seen this before?
Good
I'm like,
video.
Because it was real. I had never used the stroboscope thing, and like the video that I captured on my phone came out quite good because my belt resonance is 80 and 81 hertz. I can film in 60 FPS on my phone. So you actually get a decent movement on your phone camera, where it is often difficult to catch that. So, yeah, and it looks just like it looks on the phone in real life. Like it is very trippy how well they've done that. And this was done after that. So this was done after the vibration compensation. It was done after the belt thing, and it was done after phase stepping. I did not, however, rerun input shaping. So I'm going to rerun input shaping, and then I'm going to try this again, and we're going to see where it goes. Because I actually think that with input shaping, it'll help. But like the layer stacking issues that you see higher up on this, it's because it's on my wobbly set table. That's why it's like, oh, it's inertia. It's math playing the part. So it's funny. But, and then I posted, reply photos to people of like lighting that a regular, person would show you, which is just like lighting like this, where, yeah, you can see some slight VFAs at very obvious frequencies, right? It's like very obvious speeds you see it, but then otherwise you don't really see anything. And they're like, oh. I'm like, yeah. I told you all that I deliberately took it in the harshest physical lighting that I could. You're all making fun of the machine because I put it in the worst possible scenario.
I think a lot of people do forget that the human eye is notoriously efficient at picking up visual disturbance.
Oh, it's very good.
Like you can put a lovely looking part in bad lighting, suddenly it does not look like a lovely looking part. And even like a lot of materials, like a lot of the silks, they add a mattifying agent. So when it prints, it actually cracks the surface a little bit, and that allows for shadows to be a little bit softer. Well, and that's just because it makes it look more uniform.
So the funny thing is that I look at this and I'm like, it's a damn fine print. Like, I see some VFAs in there, but like, buddy, I'm not printing miniatures on a Core 1L. That's like, God, that's like buying, let me see. That's like buying a Koenigsegg Jesko and driving it to the grocery store and doing the speed limit, right? You're buying a hypercar and you're using it for not what it's meant for. Can it do it? Sure, but it's not meant for it. And that's where I think we run into these issues with this. It's like, I think there are unreasonable expectations. And I kind of want to call out anybody with a Pantheon machine, because I want to see what this test looks like on a machine with servos.
Well, they're using servos, so...
And ball screws.
So the ball screws won't affect it in my eyes.
There's no backlash. You do get backlash on belts.
Yeah, but it's not... Belts isn't really the problem. There is a aspect of VFAs on belts. You do get pulsing on a ball screw, and that's because you've got the ball bearings recirculating. Wait. So you get the ball bearing pitch. But in reality, it's the servos, because they'll be using field orientated control if they're doing it right. And then that means you don't get motor resonance to the same level. It's a bit different. And that's where the quality improvement will be.
Apparently, Nero has one. So we'll have to ask Taylor to run it. He's had one
for a while, if I remember.
And he's got a Core 1L. I want to see him side by side. Well, I can use my Core 1L, but he's got both. So I want to see him side by side running the same test and seeing what the actual differences are. So,
take the material out one and put it in the other.
Peter Printer with the $10 wobbly table fund. Thank you. And don't forget to like. We got 143 people here watching us live and only 32 likes. Like the stream, support it, help us keep it ad free, so we don't have to have YouTube interrupting y'all's weird Sunday rant fest that you seem to enjoy oh so much. And speaking of, in theory, which we haven't booked everything yet, we should probably do that when the stream's over.
Yeah, I was literally just messaging a couple other YouTubers that were asking, am I going to a place? That I'm like, maybe. I haven't actually finished the meetings yet.
We have to book everything. As far as I can tell, we are covered financially for Form Next. So I need to see what the ticket prices are now. Because we're basically booking out a show a week in advance.
Yeah.
Which is just insane. So I'm hoping the tickets aren't too crazy expensive. And I'm hoping we can find a place to stay that's not going to be ungodly expensive. But Jacob, if it is, we might be getting a room with 2 beds in it, because, brother, there's only so much money that I can spend on hotel rooms.
Hey, I've been in sketchier scenarios where a floor is preferable.
Well, I mean, there is that too, but we'll
As long
figure
as I can
something
charge
out.
my camera batteries, it will be fine.
No, we're
That's
going to
all
have
that
plenty of
matters.
batteries, don't you worry. So if that works out well, in theory, either the Sunday before Form Next, I don't think we're going to be out there that early, but the Sunday after Form Next, we might have an in-person show for you all. So, yeah, that could be a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't actually have all the money in hand. I'm kind of just relying on goodwill from companies that have told me they're going to sponsor us. So
It'll
I'm
be
just
fine.
gonna send it.
It'll be fine.
Worst comes to worst, it is what it is, and maybe I make some videos being mean to companies. Who knows? David Connershover says I run IR3V2 in my bus while driving. I don't. That's a reference for something that I don't know. But thank you, sir, for the $10. Greatly appreciated. But yeah, there was a lot of people were looking at the Core 1L, and it was funny. They're like, "Oh, you brought a Core 1." I'm like, "Look at it again." "Oh my God, it's the L. It looks like it's the same size." I know. It's
They've
funny.
done an amazing job at just like efficiently increasing the space
Dude,
without wasting space.
It's so funny because I almost want it to be a different color. I almost want it to be a different color.
Ow. Like,
so you
Prusa
can
is
easily
black
tell the
and orange.
difference. Because if you don't have a Core 1 next to it, and it's the only Prusa printer on the table, was the only 3D printer on the table, but the only Prusa printer on the table, from a glance, you have no idea this is a Core 1L. No idea.
I see that. I see that. I actually think it's a smarter move not to, because you're trying to do a price ladder. You're trying to do a price ladder of here's your entry level, which is your Core 1.
Right.
And then here is the one that's actually very high value for money, which is the Core 1L. They look the same, so you're not making any different decision in terms of aesthetics.
Right.
The size increase isn't that much for the volume increase. So then you end up with this scenario of well, I don't need to worry about where I'm putting it either.
Right. From like a business perspective, it fits on almost the same shelf size as a Core 1. You need a little bit of extra Z height. But that's it, right? It's not that big of a machine on the outside, but on the inside it's 50% larger, which is just like one of those crazy things to realize is like, damn, they found a way. And Jacob, do you know this? It's half a kilo lighter.
It's lighter.
It is lighter.
That's impressive.
Because they went away from steel everywhere and went to aluminum.
You know, it doesn't actually affect me. I'm not a stickler for aluminium versus aluminum.
I just think it's
turns
funny
out that annoyance
it's funny
goes
to just
away
randomly
the
trigger
moment you learn. It doesn't though. That's the thing. It's funnier watching you try to trigger me, because aluminum and aluminium are the same word given by the same creator who just changed the name at a whim to sound smarter for certain people.
I mean,
which is like the most human thing to do.
It's true. Yeah. Thomas 0 with the 5 memberships. Thank you. Matrix Tech got one. Ken Davis got one. Net Ventive got one. Priscilla got one. And Damascus Everglades III got one. So thank you very much for gifting memberships to people. There will be a 3-hour video going live sometime this week to like members only and to patrons that is 3 hours of us walking around Shanghai with a 360 camera. So they're both up on YouTube. I need to compare them side by side. We have one that is exported at DaVinci Resolve's best quality, which is like 60 megabit per second. Then there's one at the actual recording, which is 150 megabit per second. So
you still haven't sent me the other link for that. You said you would send it to me in the morning and then just never did.
Well, you have to remind me.
Well, I was working and I slept.
I also was working. Here, I'm going to do it right now just to piss you off. Because I can. But yes, that is happening at some point. Here. There's the second one. That is going to be going out at some point. I don't know which one's going to look better. I'm going to put them both on monitors, and I'm going to see. Sembazuru said, I think his name's Chris, says YouTube compression will wipe out any difference between the two. It might not, and I want to find out. Because one of them was 60 gigs, the other one was 190 gigs. So, you know.
YouTube compression should actually be pretty good for this, because it's a 4K 360 footage, and bitrate does heavily affect that, whereas the file size doesn't as much. So being able to do a higher bitrate export, just because there's so much noise going on, because it's 360, like it's different from 4K forward facing, because any noise is normally contained in small areas. This is up, down, left, right, sky, windows, everything all at once, never ending. So higher bitrate on the export will do a lot better, even though YouTube compression just deletes it. So it should still be better.
I'm hoping, and if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's that simple. So yeah, it was interesting seeing people's reactions to it. I forgot to do a video that I really wanted to do, but I didn't have the G code for it. I wanted to recreate the Joe Prusa looking in the machine video. I did something similar, but I didn't have the machine moving at the time. So, yeah, I did put a 360 camera on top of the machine for a little bit to get people's reactions to it when they realized it was the L. So that'll be interesting. I don't know how much of it will be usable. We filmed some short form content with it, so you guys saw that on Instagram and on YouTube. Those were up. And you know what? It performed without a hitch. It ran beautifully. It made 6 make robots in under 4 hours. And they looked really good. I was very happy with it. I didn't know what else to print when we were there, so I'm like, I'll just print the make robots. So did 6 of them in under 4 hours, and it worked out well. We met a bunch of people there. Net Ventive apparently was one of them. He said, I met Grant and the better half. She is the better 3/4. Thank you very much. Yesterday at Maker Faire, thanks for the Maker Coin. Totally. I gave out more Maker Coins yesterday than I have in the past at any other shows, which is hilarious. We have so many Maker Coins, and I've only given out like a dozen, and it's very funny to me. But, you know.
I am so close to making my own Maker Coins. Except I've given myself one requirement. I will make my first Maker Coins with INDX.
INDX does help and make it better.
It does. I like the idea that my first Maker Coin will be an INDX Maker Coin. The downside is I now can't massively talk about INDX.
That's correct. You can't, but I can. I haven't signed anything.
There has been the only thing I'm allowed to talk about at the moment. Documents signed. Yes, because that's the only thing you can legally tell people if they ask if you can talk about stuff, saying no, documents were signed.
That's correct. You are under a contract. I'm not. You know. So
I love being able to say that. You can see me just light up thinking about all the possibilities.
And I'm just waiting for chat to catch up with us, because they're gonna be like, what?
Know so much now. I've been.
And here's the fun thing. We can't answer any of your questions regarding what you're likely going to be asking, because non-disclosures. But yeah, INDX. So that was the big thing. Everyone that saw it's like, oh my god, this could fit like 10 INDX heads. I'm like, yep, it could. And then there are people that were like, oh, this could, how does this compare to the XL? I said, well, right now, if you don't need the space of an XL, I would wait. I would wait for INDX to come out because, this machine's $1,800. By the way, there's an affiliate link in the description if you want to check out the Core 1L. Use our affiliate link. I'd be very, very grateful for that. That helps us make sure that we have a little bit of extra money to pay editors when we go to Form Next. But yeah, Joe did confirm on our live stream that INDX is coming to Core 1 and Core 1L. That is the first public confirmation from either company that we have received. So technically what?
Fine. I guess I'm not a public company.
That it will be at Form Next, Jacob.
Oh, fine. I didn't hear the at Form Next bit.
I didn't say at Form Next, but...
Oh, there you go, then.
Do you have a machine with working INDX on it right now, Jacob?
I can't talk about it.
Exactly. Prusa does, and we have evidence of it. So there. Bitch.
Meh. No, I said it first. I said it the moment I saw it. There will be a printer with INDX released for the Construct series.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know. That doesn't surprise me at all. Sorry, I have to get something. There it is. For later in the stream. And I don't want to have to lift this later because my back hurts. That is a full pack-out bag for filming. But here, I'll give some people a bit of a hint here. You see how that's yellow?
Yeah.
I haven't tested it yet.
What do you mean you haven't tested it yet? How are you holding yourself back?
I only realized the other day. I'm like, what? So it's a super Takumar.
No, I don't care. Get your camera out now. Put that lens on. Just take a selfie for all I care. We need to see the color rendition of it.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I have plenty of photos.
It's gonna make
beautiful.
Make the blues so like teal.
It's beautiful,
and it's gonna make the orange.
No, it's absolutely beautiful. And Jacob, it's a 50. It's a 50.
Is it a fast 50?
1.4. 1.4. And it's an M42 mount. So I think I have that adapter for your camera already here. And I've used it on full frame, no vignetting at all. So, yeah, it's a beautiful lens.
So somebody just asked, what's so great about the yellow lens then? Because I don't think you've actually told everyone, like, why am I freaking out?
Yeah, Jacob's freaking out because this is a super Takumar lens. And there are a few lens brands out there, Super Takumar being one of them, that were doped with thorium. Thorium was used in the glass making to give it a so like we use coated glass these days to deal with like lens flares and stuff like that. They often used thorium. And well, the yellowing of it pretty much guarantees that this has thorium in it. And that also means, for those who don't know what thorium is, that it is radioactive. Now, it's not dangerously radioactive. Thorium is not too bad. But, yeah, in theory, this is radioactive. Hence the meter. Hence the lens. We'll test it toward the end of the stream. But yes, I didn't realize that I own a potentially radioactive lens.
Cool.
Yeah. And by the way,
So cool.
it's on an adapter. This is the actual lens. This is the adapter. But yeah, I might have gotten lucky and have one. So, anyways, thorium reactor. Yes, light lifter thorium reactors. Just you can Google that if you want to go down a really crazy thing. But anyways, seeing people's reactions to it being the Core 1L, they were all really excited. Like, this isn't even out yet. I said, they're shipping them already, but this is the first one in the state. I think it's the first one in the Southeast United States. So that's pretty cool, right? I'm very excited for that. And there were a lot of people that are like, yeah, that's awesome. I'm like, I know. And they're like, it doesn't even look the same. I said, I know. That's the trick. Like, they're like, how'd they make it lighter? I said, it's all this aluminum, right? Anything that doesn't need to be steel isn't steel. And that is our current working theory for why it has so many less VFAs, is because the aluminum and the steel are canceling out the vibrations of the steel, right? They're like, it's like you put a pillow on something that was moving, right? You're changing its mass, and so you're changing its resonant vibration frequency that causes it to be happier. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know. I thought it was cool.
It is cool. It is exceedingly cool.
But like, dude, can you? So I feel like maybe Prusa's shooting themselves in the foot a little bit.
With what? What? Just making a bigger Core 1?
Oh, and Shane's right. The first Core 1
INDX.
large at a US show. That's correct. It is the first Core 1L to be at a US show. I think they're shooting themselves in the foot a little bit with the Core 1L and INDX. I think they are.
Wow. Because they're not going to do XL then? Or
so unless you really need the 65 millimeters on the X and Y and the 35 millimeters on the Z, why would you get an XL? What's the point?
Counterpoint. Why would you buy an XL in the first place?
Because you need multi-material. That's why I bought mine.
And if you need multi-material and you are doing it at that price point, because if you're doing it for multiple heads, like how much is a fully kitted out XL again?
$4,500.
Yeah, so about £4,000 if I remember.
Yeah.
$4,500. Yeah, about £4,000.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a business and you're looking at it, you don't care about it is about £2,000 the Core 1L, right?
1,800, but yes.
1,800. Like, that's a good price. Like, you
Great
don't
price.
care what the price is though. Like at industrial or like semi-industrial, or even like research grade, you're just going to go, I have one opportunity to buy something, let's go buy it.
Yeah.
And I don't actually see it negating the sales of the XL. They'll probably see a little dip, but in reality, they've probably brought up a load of more people to the Core 1L.
I think so.
Have bought a higher price machine tag.
Because like our basic guesstimate here is like it's going to be $700 for a fully kitted out INDX kit for it with the Prusa tax, right? So that would bring us to like $2,500, which is the same price as a single tool head XL.
Yeah.
And I look at that and say,
I do think it's smart. I don't think they've done what you fear.
Look, I have a client that does a lot of printing near that 300 XY space, and I've been using GD plus 4s for a long time for their parts. I am highly considering going to Core 1Ls. Highly considering. Now, I would want to put a Panda breath in it, I think. So the Core 1L, you know about the fans, right?
The only thing I know about the entire Core 1 line is the same as the XL, that the part cooling fan was a bit on the anemic side.
Oh, God, no. No, the part cooling on the Core 1 and Core 1L are...
Okay, I might just be holding that to
They have cojones. You actually have to turn them down. You turn them down turn them to 80% for PLA.
Oh, are you talking about the underbed circulation heater? Correct. Yes, so smart. Actually, so smart. Because there's two things you don't want. You don't want to take heat from the top of the bed, because that's where you stick stuff to.
Right.
Don't want that.
No.
But you've also already got a massive heater. Like,
right. It's already there.
That's an efficient heat.
So
it's that. Just siphon the heat for the chamber.
Somebody brought up a point, and I wanted to get your opinion on this as a builder. So for those that don't know, Jacob is one of the owners of Construct 3D. They make, really, really, really nice 3D printers. Very expensive, but I mean, business class machines for business class environments, right? Although you do have a machine more on the affordable. You have a machine that's priced similarly to a Core 1L.
Yep.
So it's smaller, but you have one priced
That
similarly to it.
maybe getting a refresh with Index, because I can't talk about the Index side, but I can say about the Construct 3D side, and yeah, that we're going to get Index on that. Because
I mean,
Index is going to be an option for everything at this
Jacob,
point.
where's the button?
Which button?
The button to bring
buttons.
Index up. We didn't discuss this before, so you might not have had that ready. He did have it ready. Yes. Shield team assemble.
Of course I have it. I don't have the water bottle. That would have been great.
Mine's in my bedroom.
Mine's in my sword fighting bag, because I loved going to HEMA places now, because every now and again somebody there will know it's HEMA.
Yeah, that's what the kids call it these days. Back in my day, we just called it. Never mind. I saw HEMA yesterday, and I saw, what was the sword and buckle you said?
Yeah, so you had sword and buckle. That is HEMA as well, and then you had armored HEMA. So armored HEMA is
homie. They were beating the piss out of each other.
Yes. So
like
HEMA
this was
is
full contact.
What you saw was just reenactment. And they are very similar to each other because you learn the same things with the same mentalities. But when you get in a full suit of armor, the entire goal isn't, oh, I'm going to fight as if you are unarmored. I'm going to fight as if you are armored and beat you to an ever-loving crisp. And then you will fall down. And that's how I know I've won, because you're down and I'm curb stomping you.
So they would not let me armor up because I wanted to. I thought that'd be really funny. But they travel all over the Southeast. They're most of them are based out of Fort Lauderdale, which is about 3 to 4 hours south of me. And they travel all over. I think we'll be out of town for Formnext, but they have an event up here in Tampa. But they're totally so, like, you know, I took out. We have a bunch of 4K footage of them fighting. And I was taking some really nice photos of them because after they did their fighting, they actually went to a little like meet and greet area where they gave kids weapons and let the kids smack the armor, which is okay. That's kind of cool. But I got photos of, like, you know, little children beating these guys in armor with like real flails and stuff like that. But they are totally down for some level of, like, you know, 3D printed, you know, thing versus armor.
So one of the things that I was going to do without telling you, but it's just come up now, so I might as well do it, was I was already working on 3D printed armor for HEMA, because there are two major bits that kind of suck in HEMA. So the sword and buckler you saw, which is the small shield and the one-handed sword.
And a ton of armor. Real plate armor.
No. This is the one that we're using pad armor.
Yeah, you're using the pads. You know, you're going for touches. You're not going for, you know.
Oh no, that's full contact. That will, if you weren't wearing that clothing. Bear in mind, all of that clothing is Kevlar.
Yes, yeah.
It's 800 Newton rated stab proof fabric. You can get shot in it and you'll basically be fine. There's more padding than most people expect.
I did ask the sword and buckle guys if that armor was bulletproof. He's like, it might glance a 22, but nothing more than that. He said it's not thick enough. No, he said it's not thick enough. It's 0. He said it was like a third. What did he say?
Were they wearing 350 Newton or 800 Newton?
We don't use those things here.
The weave of. It's the weave density.
Basically, no.
One
Jacob,
is if they stab with a thing, it will damage.
The metal.
Oh, no, the metal. Oh, no, that won't save anything. I'm talking about the fabric.
The fabric probably will, but that's because it's Kevlar.
The fabric will. Yeah. It's Kevlar. You're basically wearing a fully stab-proof Kevlar vest with then foam padding on the inside. You will be fine. But like one of the things that sucks about HEMA is heat retention, because to protect you from being stabbed, there is 2 layers. Well, there's 2 parts of the layers. There's multiple layers in that.
Yeah,
one is the outer layer. Yeah, they would be boiling to death in there. So the outer layer is Kevlar, as I've already said, for the stab proofness.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean it will stop your bones from breaking. So they normally put like 5 or 6 mil up to 10 millimeters of heavy-duty industrial foam on the inside to absorb the impact so it doesn't cut and it doesn't break. It's closed cell foam,
And
so it doesn't sweat.
realize they were outside in the sun in a 30-degree day.
Yep.
It was spicy. Yeah, it was very spicy. Oh, you know what? Someone brought up a good point. There is no current silicone tool head for INDX.
For now.
So if you do want to print silicone, I mean, I don't know if INDX is capable of doing it because it requires 2 extruders. Well, no, I guess it doesn't require 2 extruders. It requires 2 gears. It requires 2 gears to feed material.
I don't see a problem. You just have
a space constraint issue. You
just have a tool head that goes above it. If you're doing that, you just make a custom head for the INDX pickup system.
Yeah. So you would, let's say you'd have to give up 3 regular heads to get a silicone head.
Olaf is in the chat.
I heard INDX. I don't see a problem either. Yeah.
Now you see INDX.
Now you see INDX. Yeah, but see, that's old INDX. That is INDX pre-diet. We are told that INDX has gone through quite a bit of a weight loss transformation, a glow up, as the kids might call it. INDX has had a bit of a glow up, and I am excited to see it.
I can neither confirm nor deny anything.
Yep, that's what we love about it. So I was talking with all these people. They're like, well, what about INDX? I'm like, that's kind of the thing we don't know yet. And I said, look, I can confirm to you that INDX is coming to the Core 1 of the Core 1L because Joseph Prusa said it. And he said it publicly in our chat. So I'm going to hold him to it. But I can't confirm how many heads. I can't confirm price. I can't even confirm availability. I don't even have a shipping notification. Okay? Like, they like me, obviously. There are quite a few companies that like me. There are quite a few companies that hate me, too. But Prusa is one of our, like, I guess, top friends in the company world because they have awesome people, and I'm looking forward to visiting them very soon. Because, yes, when we go overseas, I go to Prague because I want to try to film the signature oak, which Shane doesn't know. Shane, hi, Shane. Hi.
I really want to film it. I have so many ideas for how to do like woodworking shots just beautifully. If we can see production of the woodwork, we can pull out some beautiful shots. Did you watch the signature
oak video?
I did. It was beautiful. I have loved woodwork for longer than I can probably explain.
Stop. Form next BR and the winner gets an INDX system. What's a BR? I don't know what a BR is.
Battle Royale?
Battle Royale? Is that what Battle Royale? Is that what you mean? Brother, you look.
But if we're fighting, I'm getting the armor out.
If you're going to say this, if you're you better have Jacob, you cannot show weapons on YouTube.
I'm not showing weapons. I can show armor though.
You can show armor, that's fine.
There you go.
Oh yeah, your neck armor.
Now I'm ready.
Keeps the hickeys down.
Gonna get my gorget on. There you go.
I don't even know what that is. I'm a Florida man. I don't need armor.
It's a gorget.
Yeah, Gesundheit. Look,
it's to stop you getting stabbed.
Olaf,
so if you get stabbed
do you have the ability to do something like that? Because I would fight Jacob. I would fight him. I mean,
I would.
Like
you don't even need to give us an incentive. You just put a camera on us and we're throwing hands.
Florida man and British man arrested in Germany for fighting over INDX system. Onlookers report that they also wanted to join, and they gave the money to Hector because he was too slow to make away with the money. Grant's over here like 12 gauge slug means jack shit versus armor. Okay, it's a gorget prevents decapitation, but it doesn't prevent me breaking your neck. 3D printed
Well,
foam armor. Quick, someone call color fab.
have you tried to see this? So this is another
No,
thing. That was the other
Jacob.
thing that I was gonna say. This is your standard like neck protector gorget. It's just plastic polypropylene panels.
Is
This
it?
is so expensive.
Is it plastic?
Look. So this is plastic. It's got plastic rivets, and
Huh.
then it's just got a bit of elastic going between them. But that's all you need for most like stab protection is a heavy weave like polypropylene sheet. And all they've done is they've heated it up and they bent it because you can see on the neck part, if I get the light just
Oh, that's
right,
true. Wu-Tang does say to protect your neck, so that's fair. Yeah.
it's literally just sheet plastic because there's the leatherite texture on
So
the
what you're
other
saying
side of
is
it.
you could mill out polypropylene or polycarbonate and then heat form it over a buck that is BUCK, and you'd be able to theoretically make it yourself.
Yes. Though I'm just gonna print some because that was 130 quid.
But it's
For
guaranteed to be
this.
safe, isn't it?
Sure.
The guarantee is kind of the thing you pay, no?
I don't think there's a guarantee. It's just more like a people
So
have
it's just
tested it and it
LARPing
generally.
armor then.
Well, no, it is designed to keep you safe, but there's no guarantee it will keep you safe because you're getting hit by a sword.
It's so it's like how tasers are less than lethal. They're not guaranteed to not kill you, but they're
Yeah.
okay.
Like
Okay,
some of these
that's fair.
swords, they've got more energy in the tip of them than a 50 cal.
Mm.
And I like literally
That's what I tell 'em.
I'll show you a picture off stream, but I have this huge like black welt on my inner thigh where I got hit through the padding.
How you get marks on your inner thigh are between you and yours, good sir. They're between you and yours. Spurluck is asking the real question though. What currency do the wagers occur in? Pounds, USD, or euro?
Zimbabwe dollars.
I can order more. I got $100 on me. That's all I'm saying. I got $100 on me.
Nah,
Jacob,
you got a back injury.
nearly double your weight.
Okay, I've got a knee injury. You've got a back injury. I just push you in the wrong way and you fold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? When you come round to the UK next, I'm gonna take you to my HEMA arena.
Done.
We'll get you armored up.
Done.
And we are putting the cameras up.
Done.
And we are gonna give you like a really quick, like maybe 2-hour intro session so you know all the moves and everything. And then we're gonna hit each other with swords.
Done. Absolutely. 100%. And
Sounds
that will
so
be a
much
members only video and patron only video. So if you want to see Jacob and I beat the piss out of each other with swords, I don't know, join the channel memberships or something. Jacob forgets our Second Amendment. Yes, but that's why Jacob said you come to the UK. He didn't say he comes to the US. In the US, we'll do a sharpshooter competition.
You will lose. I hope you're ready for that.
What, sharpshooting?
Yeah.
I might, but I'm willing to accept that. But
you are talking to probably one of the only British people who have not just had
bring your own this is a
bring
your own rifle event.
Okay, that's not happening then. I just need to pop by Texas on the way up so I can quickly pick something up.
Oh, no. Well, I would provide a rifle and we can go to a 100-yard range and see who does better. Which we can film at because it is my local range and they're totally cool with it. And they let us put a camera downrange because it's an open air range where you have to walk to the targets to change them.
Ooh.
And I have a wireless camera system for target acquisition for ranges. Hit each other
we
with
need
swords.
to get more
That's an
magic arms.
OnlyFans video. Damn it, you're right. It's an OnlyFans video.
Beat each out. I can't say the words. My words are failing
Why are
me.
these swords large and floppy? Don't worry about it.
Hey, you're gonna pick up the swords and you're gonna be like, wait, why are they floppy? Because swords are floppy.
Oh, because they're long and they're steel. They've got some flexibility to them.
Yeah, if they don't flex, they shatter. Like literally, you can bend a sword quite a lot, and when you are twanging people with them, and you're beating each other off with them. There you go. Said it eventually. One of the moves is you give a flick right at the right time on the flat, and you actually whip the side of the sword around theirs to hit the target. It's really disrespectful. It's really funny.
I agree with Olaf. What has this stream devolved into? Just put index up for a second. That's all we really
I was,
need.
you didn't even have to ask. It was going up.
Yeah, he's got the hotkey still.
Boom.
He's got the hotkey still. Let's
I'm
go.
just going to leave that up for a minute. That's just going to stay up there.
So, like, dude, I really think, like, I look at my Excel and I'm like, I really only use you. There are some times where I've used it for its larger build volume, but, like, for the most part, I only use it because of its multi-material, which, again, is amazing. It has more than paid for itself. I am incredibly happy with my Excel. That does not mean I am not disappointed in some of the things, like its part cooling is just insufficient at best. There are some other issues I have with the XL, but the XL has paid for itself. And for a $4,500 printer to pay for itself in weeks, it was like within 3 weeks of ownership, it paid for itself. That is tremendous. It is not common for this to occur. So I'm happy with that. But
yeah,
would I, if Index was available at the time, gone for a Core 1L with Index or a 2-tool head X or a 5-tool head XL?
You would have gone the XL.
I was hoping he was going to be here. DWK 3D is here. The guy that does the CAD. This is DWUK 3D. He does insane, like, Blender renders and CAD renders of the machines. And he's been the one that's been, like, figuring out how many index heads you can fit. Apparently it's 11. It's 11 inside of a Core 1L versus 7 in a Core 1. So that's a pretty big difference. But would I take a 300 by 300 by 330 with 11 heads on it versus a 365, 365, 365 with 5?
Yes. Because for you, it's the size. It's the ability to do big objects with that ability, whereas a smaller object multiple times is harder. Like, I've seen some of the bits you've done for customers.
Oh, they're huge.
They would have only been doable on the XL.
I would have just needed to cut it up into more pieces. I think I would take Core 1Ls with Index. I think I would. There are times where having an XL is good, right? There are times where big pieces make sense. But by and large, most people don't care if you have to cut their models.
Actually, I have completely forgotten once again how slow the XL actually is in terms of flow rate. So yeah, Index.
You can put high flow nozzles on it, but you run out of part cooling.
Yeah, the entire system is not designed for the higher flow.
Above 17 cubic millimeters a second, the XL does not. The XL barely keeps up to 17. Above 17, it does not keep up. Now, my XL is not enclosed because I think $600 for an enclosure is it's a little pricey. I'm going to be building one of the open source ones. I have all the pieces for it. I just need to print the parts. But
wait, did you say 17 cubic millimeters per second is where the cooling starts to fail at?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I literally cannot print anything if it's less than 20 because it's not worth my time anymore.
Welcome to the world of non-high flow
nozzles. Even
my
Bamboo Lab does 20.
Welcome
because I put a high flow in it.
Welcome to the world of non-high flow nozzles.
Well, it's even like not non-high flow nozzles. You can put a high flow nozzle in, but if the cooling can't keep up, that's the hard limit.
Yes. Yeah.
That sucks.
So you'll start to get curled edges on the XL above like 17 cubic millimeters a second with PLA because it's not cooling it fast enough. And because the XL is so tight on its space, you don't really have the ability to add better fans to it unless you make some physical modifications to the machine itself. Now, INDX 3D in Phase Industries, over on printables, he has the Mastodon mod, which replaces the fans, but you do have to cut a small piece out of one of the fascia covers for the XL, and you're cutting metal. So, you need to Dremel it out, which sucks. And I don't want to do that just yet. I am hoping that Prusa releases like some sort of upgrade for the XL to like the XLS, where like Plantin 2148 says that there's like a CPAP or something. Because you can have a CPAP on the carriage, right? So it's just one CPAP tube. And it is controlled based on whatever head is electrically connected, and whichever head is attached, it now runs that proper code to it to give you the amount of flow. You could do it, but I am waiting for an official thing because I'm not in the business right now of heavily modifying machines. I need uptime. Uptime is more important for us, and having availability is more important for us than machines that run stupid fast. That's just my opinion. But the XL's got an easily accessible carriage, and the entire front side of the carriage is open, unobstructed, and easy to modify. So putting a CPAP on is actually not that big of a deal. I just don't understand why Prusa hasn't done it.
Well, I'll even go one further. Like, CPAP is good because it's cheap, it's easy, it's just a tube and everything.
It's loud, but I don't really care about that.
Actually, it's not that loud.
If you run it low, it isn't. But
so that's the thing. Is like everybody runs it at maximum cooling performance, which is not what you want to run them at.
No.
Like, you don't need that amount of blowing. You need good enough. And good enough is actually running these CPAP machines at like 20 to 30% duty cycle. Add a muffler on it, it doesn't actually sound that much worse than your regular cooling fans, but you're getting 5 to 6 times more airflow on that alone. Which is good.
I am hoping.
But you know what people sleep on? High pressure air. Having just a nice, quiet...
like a aquarium pump or something.
Like an aquarium pump. And that also does a very good job. And the reason being is you can just bring in 2 or even 1 PTFE tube. And you can pump it through a PTFE tube. So you don't need to have the downside of a CPAP.
You can use a silicone tube too. I mean, you can use a much smaller tube. The problem you run into with high pressure air is if it's not high flow. And you often... High pressure is great because you can aim it and really get it to where you want. But because if you're running at high speed, having enough air flow so your CFM matters as well.
Not entirely. So the reason high pressure works better is... it would be better if I could draw this, but I can't because I'm on YouTube. Imagine you got your filament being deposited.
Okay.
And you've got air hitting the filament and bouncing off.
Okay.
Whenever you get a viscous liquid, in this case, air is classified as a liquid. When you get closer and closer to the surface of the object, you get a higher amount of sticking. So the air that hits, you end up with this boundary layer that's very slow moving. And then the further away, the faster moving the air becomes.
Fair.
It's why when you drive your car in the rain, it doesn't clean the car. And it's also why if you drive your car very fast and it's dusty, the dust doesn't fall off the car. It's because that boundary layer of air that's sticking to the car is actually only moving about 20 miles an hour. You could be going 100 miles an hour, but the air is moving substantially less.
This would be a fun thing to test on the XL because it is like a perfect test bed for this.
Yeah. And that's why high pressure works better, is it penetrates that boundary layer further, absorbing more of the heat of the plastic. So you don't actually need as much volume of air because the pressure literally absorbs the energy by forcing it to be closer to the heat source.
All right. I know
Obviously,
that we were...
more is better, though.
I know that we were discussing that you might not be able to come to Prague. We need to find a way to get you there. I'll work with you on it. We'll find a way to get you there because I need you to discuss this with people at Prusa, and I need them to basically allow us and pay us to do this research because getting you an XL is no big deal. That's easily, a 2 tool head XL is no big deal, even a 5. And then doing this research would be pretty awesome. Just saying.
That's what I do best is research. I will say, of everyone that's watching, just in general, because this knowledge does not come for free if you just pick it up on YouTube. If you want one qualification and you're still doing like your university or your higher education levels and you're getting into industry, physics, not engineering, not mathematics, not computer science, physics at a, what is the American school age band for 16 to 18?
High school.
For us, it's A levels, which are basically college level degrees.
Although I guess if you're really smart, that could be college as well. But
Well, so A levels is a college level degree in the UK, but it happens between 16 and 18. You can just go to college to do the more, or you go to university to do university courses. But yeah, physics is brilliant because it teaches you the fundamentals of like energy transfer and how
Hmm.
to mess with the world. That is what 90% of the research for 3D printing is all based on, is just understanding how the physics works. Software is its own thing, but you can do that on YouTube.
It's true. It's true. I look, I would love to see a better solution for the XL personally. Like, I know that Jean from Proper Printing is doing, all these custom heads that work and all that. Oh, AP. Okay, they're saying AP. AP classes, so advanced placement. It's probably the U.S.
Explain
high
that to me
school
because I
equivalent
do
of what
not know
Jacob
what
is
that
looking
means.
for. So that's the you're a turbo nerd and you want turbo nerd classes, and if you pass the AP test at the end of the year, you get college credit in exchange for it for these
Oh
harder
yeah.
classes. So yeah, it's probably the equivalent.
Yeah. So in the UK, fun fact, everyone has to do that. You have to do three of those classes. Four is the recommended, but
Hmm.
three's the minimum. I only did three because you end up stretching yourself too thin if you do four. But that's it. So for those 2 years, you will do three of your AP classes. In my case, I did physics, mechanical engineering, and design engineering.
I did physics, but I didn't pass the exam.
I did mathematics as well, but I flunked it so badly because you'd think physics and maths were so close to each other, it would have been easy. Turns out, I didn't know much of math. I was like missing like a massive like 3 or 4 year age gap in like my fundamental knowledge of math. So when we got to the A level side, they were like, "Oh yes, and pull out this like equation." I'm like, "I've never seen that before." So I was relearning math while they were trying to do the A level. So I flunked math, unfortunately, which is ironic because physics was so fun.
I took physics in
It was
college as an
so fun.
elective, so I understand. Um, so I guess I would love to see impacts, I guess, of all of this stuff, because like you said, applied research is kind of where we want to be. And the XL, by the way, you think the Core 1 has VFA issues? XL has entered the chat. It has pretty serious VFA problems, or at least mine does. Um, I don't care too much because, again, and someone else said it in the chat. They're like, "Yeah, my customers don't care. Like, mine don't either." And we've tuned them out, right? So similarly, we just found the frequencies that it doesn't have VFA issues, and
Mm.
we run those. It's simple. So like for our XL, we have to run it 30 to 40 millimeters per second above what Prusa recommends, and there are no VFAs anymore. Well, okay, there aren't
Yep.
no VFAs. They're pretty much gone.
So do you know why speed gets rid of VFAs?
It's resonant frequency, isn't it?
Not really. Not really. So it is a bit of resonant frequency, but it's so you've got one aspect is speed-based VFAs, and that is resonant frequency. But you end up with this line. So if you start at like 50% VFAs, you hit a resonant frequency, you go up to what's very visible. That's like the
Right.
60 millimeters per second to 120. And then it starts to go down. But if you keep speeding up, it goes down further. And you end up below the noise floor of what regular VFAs are visible to.
But won't you end up hitting like other resonances? Like, so let's say your resonant frequency is 60 hertz. Won't you hit another resonance at 120?
No, because the way that the system works, so for motors, which are speed based, where you get VFAs for motor spinning, it's a magnetic resonance. It's not your standard like sinusoidal wave resonance because it's a production over time that needs a time element as well to build the VFA.
Okay.
So because it's spinning faster, the magnitude of the VFAs will drop even at another modal frequency. So if it was 60 at 120, you'd expect to see it again. Turns out you don't. And that's because the magnetic flux can't form fast enough to create that VFA. It will be there a little bit, but it'll be like 10 times less. So then that's one side. The other side is, as DevMiner put in the chat, YGK
Yeah,
did a really
YGK
good
did a
video
video
on
on
it.
this. I haven't watched it yet. I wanted to have this chat because people seem to have a hard on for VFAs right now, and specifically the 1.5 GT belts that NoisyWorks figured out fixes some things, but it doesn't fix anything. All
It doesn't.
1.5 GT does is change the harmonic frequency, which thank you, Sambazuru, for that. It's a harmonic, it's not resonant, it's a harmonic. It just changes where it is. It doesn't get rid of anything. It just changes where it is. So stop it. Everybody bitching and moaning. Oh, why didn't Prusa use 1.5 GT? One, SKUs. Businesses don't want extra SKUs. That is stupid. And unless they go through and convert every one of their machines to 1.5 GT, there is no effing reason to do it. You are wasting time, you're wasting money, and you're wasting, more importantly, engineering capacity for something that doesn't do anything. All it does, it changes it in...
It does one other thing.
What else does it do?
It does one, and it is a good benefit. However, there's one big drawback you also forgot to mention, which is the biggest one. I'll start with the biggest one, which is the belts are untested. Like,
what do you mean untested?
1.5 GT belts aren't Gates official belts.
That's fair.
They are just a belt pitch.
They're
that
just a
somebody
belt
has
pitch.
Pulled out.
Yeah.
And that makes it a problem because you don't know the stretch coefficient. You don't have 5 million companies around the world making printers with a set belt design with that data available to go, yeah, these belts work. What it does do very well, however, is because the pitch is smaller, you end up with every gap between a tooth touching a pulley produces a straight line. That straight line is 30% smaller. And therefore, the impact of the teeth on a smooth pulley
much smaller.
Is smaller, therefore the VFAs will be reduced. Now, there is another side aspect to that, which is everybody in the industry, including us and everyone else, are improperly using the belts because all the belts have like a 1 inch, roughly, it's like 28 millimeter.
Bend radius.
Bend radius for optimal torque transfer.
Yeah.
And we're like, nah, 22, which is like 12 mil radius.
What are your thoughts on smooth idlers versus toothed idlers?
Okay. So, I spent a year doing research on this. Prusa, if you're watching, please, this is what I'm good at. I spent a year researching smooth idlers versus toothed idlers for motion systems. Now, toothed idlers make slightly worse frequency control. And that's because each tooth, when the belt stretches just a little bit, so it's off nominal stretch amount, every time a tooth connects with a toothed idler, it pulses a vibration through the belt.
Because that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about, like, as the tooth drops in to, as it's being kind of caught, because now that idler's also kind of grabbing the teeth. Isn't that going to create some sort of wiggle? Right.
It does. However, the opposite side happens on a smooth idler. Is a smooth idler actually absorbs those vibrations every time a tooth hits. So you end up with less internal noise to the belt. But the downside is you're now magnifying the radial flat points because you are going from the peak of the tooth to the peak of a tooth, and you wear the belts faster by doing it because you're basically halving the surface area of the belts. Thankfully, you can get away with it if you use thicker belts. 6 mil belts on smooth idlers degrade so much faster because you are actually on a idler, you're using the equivalent of a 4 mil belt because of that surface area. So going thicker fixes it because then you're within your tolerance control. But the VFA creation on a smooth idler is ever so slightly worse. However, once again, because research is not A versus B, it's A versus B with then a complication. Speed highly affects smooth idlers where it doesn't affect toothed idlers. So all the drawbacks and benefits of a tooth idler is a constant. You know, whatever speed or whatever, you're going to get roughly the same magnitude of
Okay.
interference along the line. A smooth idler, because when you start doing faster and faster bits and they start connecting faster and faster, it stretches ever so slightly with the force applied and it smooths it out. So if you do
Hmm.
high speed printing, smooth actually does edge out toothed. Though a lot of the research does start to fall apart when you realize we're using idlers that are literally 40% the recommended size by all of the companies.
That's fair. Now,
Yeah.
DevMiner says, who cares? Every damn printer uses incorrect gates belts. Prusa
Nobody
doesn't.
cares. Nobody cares.
Prusa doesn't.
Any factory does not actually care about this.
They
It's
don't.
just people. People care because they see VFAs. And we've done a short where I'm like, are we blowing out VFAs like molehill mountain type stuff? Yeah,
We
we
are.
are. Because if we're staying within, say, a 50 micron tolerance, that's more than good enough for this industry. Even industrial doesn't even try to stick to that tolerancing.
But with that being said, the Core 1 did suffer from pretty bad VFAs. It did.
Oh, yeah.
And their solution with the stroboscope for the belts, brilliant. And legitimately solved a lot of the... So, did you watch the live stream? I don't think you did, right?
Which one?
When I unboxed and did the Core 1?
Oh.
Okay.
I was asleep.
You're fine. It was at like 9 o'clock at night your time, or 8 o'clock at night your time.
Do you know how many pills I've been popping since China?
Whatever,
I've only just started to feel normal
whatever
now.
pills you be popping since China is between you and yours. But
Hey, look, no, you've started this, and I'm autistically now going to talk about it. These are your standard ibuprofen tablets. Notice they're red. I've never bought the red ones. I buy your standard like lactose powder, hard compressed ones. So when I pull these out, I'm like, oh,
yeah, they're
oh,
hard.
they're gummies. They're like long. They're hard. Why are they hard? I wanted squidge. I was like, oh, they're going to be gummy type things where you swallow them, but they've got a bit of softness. They're rock hard.
Editor Andrew, there are so many good clips in that. I need all of those voice clips.
When I grabbed
please
it,
and thank you.
And it was rock hard. I was expecting a softness. I was expecting that when I
There's a pill for that, Jacob.
There'll be a bit there. But no, it was hard. And I didn't expect it to be hard. And it really freaked me out for a little bit because I'm like, I don't actually want these anymore. But now I like them because they're different colors. They're red. Red means they work faster. That's not how it works, but...
I actually think that, like, so Cheaty is 1.5. The plus 4s are 1.5. But they're also 9mm belts.
Yes.
And I think
9mm, good.
I think 9mm actually plays more of a part than the belt pitch itself. Personally.
Oh, it does.
I've got a Cheaty Q1 Pro that produces VFAs that are so bad, you can physically feel them from a distance. They're so big. Yep. We're talking maybe like a 0.5 millimeter VFA move. Like it is visible and obvious. I should have brought in a part to show you what like real VFA problems are. Those are real VFA problems. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess because a lot of people make stuff that is more pretty than it is functional. The like this VFA thing has become this hard-on for the community. And when one person talks about solving their specific VFA problem with going 1.5 GT, but I will point out, they redid all the belts, redid all the pulleys, redid all the bearings, like that kind of stuff.
What I think
you're talking about all these different variables that add up to something. I think it's belt tension.
No, you've got it on the nose. It's belt tension. They're using thicker belts. They're 9mm.
No. So Noisy Works converted a Core 1 to 1.5 GT.
Oh. See, I was going to say going to 9mm belts in general means the torque requirement.
Oh, yes, on 9mm for sure.
Less.
Yeah, so he converted a Core 1 to 1.5 GT, and it got better. It didn't go away completely, but it got better. And I think because of all the, like, the issue that you have here is to convert to 1.5 GT, you have to change a lot of things. You're not just changing the belts, you're changing the smooth idlers. Well, you don't have to change those, but you are definitely changing the toothed stuff. So you're changing the tooth ones on the motor, and you're retensioning your belts. You're retensioning the belts, and unless you have a way to get the belts to exactly the same tension at exactly the same length and things like that, the amount of variables that we've just added to the equation become very, very difficult to start. Like they're compounding, and it becomes like, do we know exactly what created the scenario where things worked better? No. Does the community think it is 1.5 GT? Yes. Does 1.5 GT give you less visible VFAs? At the speeds you print at, sometimes. But everything else has to be perfect, or they also give you VFAs. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's like, and maybe it's because I don't have a full grasp on why people give a damn so much about it. Like,
it's because it's optical flow. They expect.
I guess when you spend this kind of money, you expect something. Brother, yeah. I've been in this industry long enough where a $2,000 printer, it's like, okay. I mean,
there's also a big difference between expectations of who's using them. Like, if you do this on a CNC machine and you get a part, you go, that is a part. And you know, like, say it's doing a surface planing job and you see the machining marks where the bit was, you go, yep, that's part and parcel of surface machining, without, say, taking the part and then sandblasting it or something. 3D printing, instead of coming from big industry down, which is function first, then aesthetic second, and now the quality of the surface doesn't actually matter. It's the tolerance of the surface is the quality.
Right.
This is the way up, where aesthetics were the first things people noticed, because they're not using verniers to caliper every part of the parts they make. They go, that looks right. And they expect this level of uniformity because they're told it will make the part that they want, not that they'll make the part with a surface texture.
Fair.
But fair. CNC machines suffer from VFAs, and everybody forgets that. Every CNC machine suffers from VFAs, except they're not caused by the motions that they are caused by.
It's chattering of the bit, right?
It's the chattering of the bit.
And what do?
Especially
you change your RPM and your speed. Like, how do you deal with it? You change RPM and speed.
Even if you do that, sometimes you can't get away with it, because say you're using a 1 flute end mill, you are doing an amount of cuts along the surface, you will always have that scallop pattern. Yes, you can go to a 4 flute or an 8 flute if you're baller, and then you can run it at higher RPM to take smaller like cuts, and you can lower the depth of increase the depth of cut, reduce the
step over,
the overshoots, and then you get less, and then you get higher quality, but you're never gonna get
that's about but see, that you can calculate optimal chip loading, right? So you can calculate your depth of cut and things like that with a CNC. With a 3D printer, we don't have those kind of calculations yet. And like, look, for CNC milling, when you are dealing with like a really big depth of cut with a really big step over, well, you are hogging chips. I've ran Haas machines, so that is my extent of knowledge with CNC mills, like where I'm like certified to operate, is Haas. I've ran DMG Mori and some other stuff, but that's more of like anecdotal. Hey, can I do a little programming and run something real quick? Not, I know how to run these machines competently. So I know how to run Haas. Haas has an entire setup to vary the frequency, vary the RPM of the spindle up and down, and it'll basically run a test cut. So you say, hey, this is a scrap piece. It'll run a test cut, and it will start to give you different variations of your RPM. So it's just basically kind of ebb and flowing the RPM a little bit to keep the bit from hitting a resonant frequency and starting to chatter. We don't have that level of like, well, those are all servos, so like we don't have that level of control. So like we can't monitor that closely with most 3D printers. But further, we don't have that level of software where we're able to do things like that. Prusa kind of has it with the new Prusa Slicer 2.9.4. Have you seen that? The constant
Is that the constant
flow.
external?
Yeah.
I like it, except it forgets one thing,
Hmm.
which is accelerations. It won't do exactly that surface speed, because say you've got a hole in the middle of a part, it will have high acceleration for all of that, and then at the hole it has to still slow down, so you will get thermal differences in the material.
They're claiming that it
Whereas
doesn't. I will have to try it myself. I haven't tried it yet.
there's no way around it though.
Yeah, I haven't tried it
There's
yet
no way around it.
myself, but I don't know. I think it's cool. And I think we're starting to get to that point where the software is like catching up, saying, hey, if we vary your speed a little bit, we can make things look better and give you that surface quality and that surface finish that you're looking for, right? Maybe. We hope.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say because VFAs are not really a VFA. A VFA is a human problem. It's not a machine problem. And we got a question in the chat. I'm gonna butcher that. I'm gonna just call you
Hungle. Mahendra Hungle.
Yep. Has asked, do you think 1.5 mil belts would help? Have you noticed on the construct machines? We've tried them. They didn't really do much. And that's mostly because we understood how the belts work beforehand, which is thicker belts better. Yes. In general.
Wider
and
belt
the reason
better.
thicker belt better, less tension over the system. You can still pull the same tension. So we run 2.6 foot-pounds on a printer with a bed that is 410 by 410.
You use foot-pounds instead of Newton meters?
Yeah, we're the UK.
Right. You're the UK.
Imperial metric had an unholy godchild, where our ton is different to your ton, which is also different to the imperial ton, because there's 3 tons, and I never know which one is spelt which way. Or
yours has the E, mine doesn't have the E.
Different to your gallon. Well, you can also just have TON. So you can have TON.
TON is the American ton. That's 2,000
Yeah, but then you've also got the imperial. You've got the American ton.
Yes.
You've got the imperial ton, and you've got the metric ton.
Yes.
So you've got 3 tons.
Yeah.
That's tons of tons.
Yes.
But yeah, so we tension all our belts to 2.6 foot-pounds. And that is a good tension. But if we did that on a 6 mil belt, the belt stretch is 3 times as much. It's not much compared to printing over time, but it's about 3 times as much. And what you really want to do is lower the surface pressure on all of your pulleys. You want it to be loose, or as loose as you can get away with without you having slipped gears. And that means you don't have any of the issues of your idler pulleys doing an effect, because the tension is so low, they're not slapping the idler every time a tooth hits it. And it's the same on the drive pulleys. You're not grabbing every tooth as you're going along. You're putting less force in, therefore less impacted instantaneous vibration.
The way that I've always looked at the tooth versus smooth idlers, there's a bicycle analogy here. Smooth idler is using sneakers on a bicycle, right? Tooth idlers are using bike shoes that clip in.
Yeah.
Because
I like that.
So on a bicycle, right, you're 50% on each foot. Well, when you're clipped in, you can use that other 50% where you wouldn't be putting any power to pull up as you're pushing down as well. So you become more efficient. I believe that the toothed idlers provide better efficiency, but
yes,
I think there's like we talked about, the surging issue with the system. And yes,
I mean, in the last,
I don't know.
I'm just trying to think of when the last batch of idler pulleys came in. It's about 4 months ago. 4 months ago, we actually made a decision as a factory to move over from toothed and smooth idlers, depending on which side the belt was, to just smooth idlers. The impact,
and it's less skews.
So minimal, it's less skews. Like the impact is minimal, less skews.
Yep.
So that's what we went with.
And from a business perspective, people were like, Prusa's not a cheap, provider. Why didn't they just make the decision? I don't think you understand what an extra SKU for belts does, and if it was used in the wrong area, it would be a disaster. Soundspark says Haas is pretty low end when it comes to CNC. I know it is. He said it's fine for light duty jobs. The VF2 Super Speed that I was using would do fine cuts. Yes, it's nowhere near
I've
like...
never had a good time with a Haas machine. I have broken so many of them.
I have, because they're conversational and they're easy to train people on. I understand, like, yes, a Doosan with boxways will be better, but it's also considerably more expensive unless you buy an older machine. I've used a Herco VMX 64. That's a machine with a 64-inch X travel. Okay, that's over 5 foot X travel and a 50-horse main head and boxways. Did it do better cuts than a Haas VF2? Yes. Did it require basically a helicopter to put it in place? Yes. The VF2 Super Speed fit through an 8-foot door. So, yeah. Anyways, I think it's about how you use the machine. And I guess the way that I see it, we've come to expect things that don't make sense. And I think Bamboo has figured it out. So the thing that Bamboo did differently, that I still think is one of their secrets that no one's really figured out yet or taken advantage of, because it's not really a secret. We know what it is. They don't use stepper motor drivers. They don't use stepper motor drivers. It
doesn't matter.
Well, hold on. They use H bridges. They use an H bridge of MOSFETs. I believe they have more control over the stepper motor with the H bridge than you have with a standard stepper motor driver, because you're able to impact each one of the MOSFETs in the H bridge versus dealing with whatever level of control TMC gives you on like the 2130s that are inside of the Core 1L. And look, I am not an electronics expert. This is an anecdotal guess at best, but I have a feeling that is what is giving people cleaner prints on Bamboos, because they're literally able to tune it out with the control they have over these MOSFETs. But I don't know. This is where I have to like say, Jacob, does this track, or is this just Grant like coming up with an idea that has no bearing?
No, I think it tracks. I'm seeing the logic.
I can't
I'm seeing
prove
the train
it.
of thought.
Right.
I'm not finding any way to disprove the train of thought.
Right. That's where it lands for me too. I'm not finding anything that says like, well, that can't be right. It's like,
mean, one of the ways that I wanted to test stuff like this was literally just slap every accelerometer on the planet, and like, I don't have a camera for it. Even my camera at the moment isn't good enough, but I would need like a 48 megapixel high-speed camera, and then I can do a full frame vibration analysis by using pixel sorting. So you basically take your full frame footage. You do 120 FPS, and then you can check the pixel noise ratio to get movement. That's something that would be exceedingly interesting to see with that theory, because my gut feeling is like, especially when it comes to pulleys, it doesn't affect the belt, it affects the printer. It's why I don't think ball screws will work, because ball screws are harder than the printer, meaning the printer forms around the ball screw, not the ball screw around the printer. So it's little things like that.
It's just,
I want to research this.
I can't get it out of my head, because like, when you look at a Bamboo design, you say every single thing in their design has purpose. They chose this for a reason. They have more than accessibility. They have all the accessibility they need to stepper motor drivers. They chose an H bridge. Did they choose an H bridge because that's what is used in drones and quadcopters? So that was just what they knew from the DJI side, which I think is a perfectly reasonable thing to look at. Did they use it because H bridges are cheaper? Because, you buy MOSFETs are, sub-penny parts when you buy them in the quantities that they would be buying them in. Or did they actually figure something out? So And the reason I'm thinking this is because when the X1 Carbon first came out, it was loud. It was a very, very loud machine. Bamboo brought out their version of phase stepping, which I forget what it's
Actually,
called.
no, I did think of something.
But they brought this out. And it's able to tune the MOSFETs.
No, I did think of something.
What do you got?
It's still a stepper motor. It doesn't matter what the control driver is. It's a stepper motor. And the problem isn't the driver, it's the stepper.
It's the stepper
it's
because the steps.
It's the steps. That's the problem. The reason why a 3-phase or 6-phase motor works is you have much smaller steps, and because you have much smaller steps, you can interpolate between them easier. You don't get the snapping issue. And even then, you still want to like add a Hall effect sensor to the motors, turning them into pseudo servo motors.
Right.
Because then you get positional control, you do a training loop, and then you know exactly how the motor is going to act at a certain position to counteract it. A H-bridge will not fix that. Because a H-bridge is basically just a trinamic stepper driver, but exploded into individual cheaper components. Because it's the magnet. That's the problem. It's
How do they
not
work?
the driver. You almost caught me. I was almost going to start explaining how magnets work, and then I realized
fire, water, and dirt. Effing magnets. How do they work? So I see Mahendra's asking, do Pantheon machines have VFAs? I don't have a Pantheon machine, so I couldn't tell you. So we'll have to ask Taylor to do a test. I think that would be a way to do it. You see, Plantin is talking about closed loop steppers. I don't think that solves the problem. That just gives you positional accuracy. I don't think that gives you any solution beyond positional accuracy, right? That way, if you run into something, it's there, right? I don't know, man. Part of me thinks that Bamboo figured something out that the rest of the industry just hasn't figured out. And because on a stepper motor driver, you can have baby stepping and things like that. With H-bridge, you don't. You don't have that option. So
you do.
Not in the way that TMC gives it to you.
Well, no, it's the same output. It doesn't matter what the control loop is. You are partially activating alternative loops to move it a smaller amount. So all micro stepping is say you've got phase A and phase B. One step is the movement icon goes from here to here. One step. Micro stepping just means it will move partially. And all that does is, instead of being 100% power to 0% and then they flip, is this goes 100% to 20% and this becomes 80 and then it moves along a set amount. That's micro stepping. So half micro stepping means you have 2 power states.
Right.
Instead of 100 and 0, it's 150 and 0.
Right.
And the 50 just means it will pull it into the middle of both of them. That's all it is. You can do that with a H-bridge. There's no issue with that.
Oh, and that's
because all they're doing is, all Bamboo Lab are doing is they're just raw dog controlling the loops. They're not using a pre-compiled process stack.
Well, and Duff points out that the TMC drivers are fundamentally H-bridges with more logic and diog than than something else. And okay, fair, right? Okay, fair. So then, why do we not see? Like, and I'm gonna look at the Core 1. I'm gonna look at the Core 1 versus the Bamboo X1 Carbon. Why is a Bamboo X1 Carbon a machine? Mine has like 2,000 plus hours on it. Why is that cleaner than a stock Core 1?
Oh, I can tell you straight away. And hopefully certain people aren't listening to this. Prusa can't make a profile to save their lives. Their print profiles.
Is it because they're just not that well tuned? They're tuned enough. They're just not tuned.
Yeah.
As well.
And one of the problems is like I will have to load up my Prusa slicer just to double check because I don't like guessing when it comes to this Prusa slicer. I am running Prusa slicer 2.6.
Jesus Christ, Jacob.
That shows. Look, but it doesn't matter because this will still prove the point.
Hmm.
Hopefully my computer does not die because two of my monitors have been glitching out.
Jacob, let's not load up Prusa Slicer.
No, it's fine. It's just a graphical error.
I
It's
have
loading
Prusa
anyway in the
Slicer
background
open
now.
right now.
Okay, you can do it as well, but look at these standard profiles
Uh-huh.
for their speeds. And then you can also look at their profiles for
So
accelerations.
the Core 1, and this is for the Core 1L. Perimeters at 250, small perimeters at 170, external at 200, infill at 300, solid infill at 250, top solid at 150, support at 120, support material interface at 50, bridges at, or 50%, excuse me, bridges at 50 millimeters a second, over bridges are 35%, gap fill is 120, ironing is 15.
Okay, so immediately anything that's 50, that
Mhm.
will produce resonance. Anything that is a multiple around the 120 mark,
Mhm.
that will produce resonance. And then when you consider accelerations, you want to
Yeah.
be choosing a speed that immediately gets you outside of the resonance bands. So one of the choices that we did really early on is, hey, do we choose like the final speed of the printer? In our case, we wanted to be hitting about 145 millimeters per second on the XL. And we realized, no, we want to tell the slicer 200 with a higher acceleration because the average print speed in a print will be slightly lower as it accelerates up to that speed. If you are going to be going through a danger zone, you don't want to drag out that time.
No, you
You want to
don't.
be going through it. And that's one of the things that I noticed in, at least in the Prusa Mark III that I had. Uh, all of the print speeds were in the exact resonance band for the motors.
Well, the Mark
All of
III
them.
didn't have input shape or anything like that, so that's a different world. But I've always said that like look, Prusa actually provides what I think are pretty damn decent base profiles. They're conservative and they give you lots of opportunity to change. But it would be nice if we got like profiles that were like anti VFA. Now that is for the speed profile. There is a balanced profile. Um, And the balance profile is perimeters at 150, small perimeters at 170, external at 200. That's funny. Why is your external higher than your internal? But whatever. Infill at 150, solid infill at 150, top solid at
Do you know why
100.
their external is higher?
No.
VFAs. They're actively trying to hide VFAs with that.
Well, no, the external's the same as it is in the speed profile. It's more than the regular perimeters. That makes sense. If we go to the structural, that's like in the 70s and 40s. That's way too slow.
So 0.2 quality on a Mark III. Yes, I am dating myself with still pulling up a Mark III. And yes, Prusa Research have done a lot more improvements since
I actually
then.
think their profiles back in like the Mark III and the Mark III series, they were incredibly conservative, but you knew they would work. You knew they would work. But I guess back then no one really cared about VFAs, so
there is a lot. So there is small perimeters and external perimeters are both set to 25 millimeters per second. Anything below 20, huge VFAs. Huge VFAs.
God,
And they've got external perimeters at that speed.
My Mark IIIs run at like 80.
Now I need to figure out how on earth I use Prusa Slicer again to upload a new printer. Ooh.
You're going to have to update it. It likely won't.
I updated it enough to have the Mark IV. I just need to make sure I can find it now.
Configuration. Under configuration. Yeah, configuration wizard. Okay. So mini Bice 1234 said factory cartoon versus modified tune. You know what? That's probably the best way to describe it. And Jacob normally uses Orca. I think that is the best way to describe it, right? It's a factory tune where the car is designed to be functional, but with an aftermarket tune, you can get more horsepower out of the same car, out of the same engine with no power adders.
And you can get smoother power output, you can get more power output, you can be more fuel efficient. And that's one of the decisions that companies have to make. Now, bear in mind, I know a lot about this because I have to do a lot of it myself. And therefore, I've got a very holistic view of the entire step process of let's choose a motor specifically for a print profile. Prusa Research probably aren't doing that because
I
they've
don't think
got
so.
so many engineers. Like, it's stupid to have one guy making the decisions for the entire product stack. You want to outsource as much of that to individual people to really get into the minutiae of stuff. But what ends up happening is you might have somebody, say, making a print profile that doesn't know what the exact motor spec is and what nuance that motor spec has. Or
Right.
maybe the person making the frame design with the steel frame for the top part, they would know the resonant frequency of that frame and they'll be like, hey, we need this print profile to be at this speed to ignore it. But then the other person doesn't get the memo because there's too many chains in the link now. There's too many links in the chain now.
Right.
So that's one of the most common issues that happens when it comes with companies growing in scale is they end up losing the overall view that allows you to do very dirty to very smart decisions that normally should be like given off to, I don't know, like a lead technical engineer is the person who should be overseeing this, but they're so busy they won't. Like, that's the level that you need to get perfectly optimized print profiles. If you can get a community member to make a better print profile, it meant the factory didn't do a good enough job. At least that's what I see in my eyes. Because the factory should know better. They should have tested enough to know, like, hey, this the speed we need to ignore. You shouldn't need an aftermarket thing. Like everything Hedgehog makes.
Zombie.
I
Austin.
Zombie Hedgehog makes. He they shouldn't be needed.
No.
Zombie Hedgehog should not need to make print profiles because that's what the company should be doing. The fact that Zombie Hedgehog makes damn good profiles that make your printers better is a testament to the fact the company didn't understand the job.
But well, so I think Bamboo gave us, a vehicle with a unlocked rev limiter. Zombies profiles and mine similarly lock on a rev limiter that keeps it from moving too fast. Because at some point those machines, like, they were moving way too fast on their external perimeters. They were moving way too fast on the internal stuff. Like, we cut Bamboo stuff down by like 10 to 20%, and the quality of their machine spiked through the roof. Hilariously, with Prusa, we have to raise it by 20% or so, and the quality goes up. Now, the VFA test that I have is bone stock Prusa slicer settings. Right? This is just what the machine has. I will have to try the other profile from Prusa Slicer, but this model caps your external perimeters at 100 and then just varies the percentages. I don't know if it's obvious for you to see. It'll focus. Yeah, you can't. There's little dots, and those dots are at every 5 millimeter because that is a different speed parameter for how fast these are going, and that helps you kind of verify. I think 100 is too slow. I want to see 200, and I want to see this again. And so those are things that I want to try and work on and understand. Where are we starting to run into problems, and is it in profiles? Is it in the parts? Is it in G code? And how do we tune this stuff out? Or, at least in my case, just ignore it more. Sporluck is asking how many resources does Bamboo have in R&D versus Prusa. I know how many. I know that Prusa has over 1,000 employees. They're public about that. They've discussed it. We have no idea how many employees Bamboo has. That is not public. Bamboo does not talk about their team. Oh, rhetorical. Fine.
So just shut that conversation right now.
All right, it's rhetorical. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, and you know what? I would assume that Bamboo has more. I would assume that Bamboo has a lot more. I would assume that Bamboo has more R&D than most. I would assume that Bamboo has more R&D people than most of the rest of the industry combined. And their engineering in the tool heads of the H2D, H2S, and all that show it.
Yeah.
So.
Like they don't just have manufacturing experience because where they originated from, they've also got the entire world's production capacity on their doorstep.
Right.
And that allows them to do advanced research very quickly. It allows them to prototype things very quickly, gather the data very quickly, reiterate very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then that cyclic cycle of A, B, C, do it again, A, B, C, do it again. They are probably doing that multiple times a month.
With how fast they're releasing machines, they have to be.
Yeah.
They have multiple
their machine
teams.
Design is not, let's copy somebody else and then do it and base it on their knowledge. No, this is, they are making the knowledge. They are doing everything their own way, even though that can look similar to others because they're printers at the end of the day, but they're doing things their own way. And that doesn't come free. Like how the A1 series of printer was supposed to have an eddy current sensor. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, there was a slot in the original batch moldings for the A1 series was for a circular 2mm thick pad, which I am 100% certain, based on its positioning, was for an eddy current sensor. And then they decided not to go with it. They did the research. They made a mold that went into production that had a slot for an eddy current. That immediately shows you what they're doing behind the scenes is they did the research and then said no. That's not, oh, we did it on a whim. That's they learnt and applied.
So I was going to say something and I had to check to check when this happened. I'm like, I don't think Prusa's really operated on a fast cycle, but no, they released 2 machines this year. The Core 1 and the Core 1L were both released in 2025. Because the Core 1L, or the Core 1, we did our stream Jan 31 of 25. And I have a feeling that was when the embargo ended. And we did our stream for the Core 1L the Monday after the embargo ended, November 3rd, which was a little under a week ago. Looking at the Core 1L for the first time when it showed up at our front door. So that's pretty good from Prusa. I don't think that they've ran cycles like that before. I don't think Prusa's released 2 brand new machines that fast. And to be clear, you might say, oh, they're not that different, but they are. It's an AC coupled bed. There's so much different about the Core 1 and the Core 1L. And they have so many upgrades in the Core 1L that I do hope trickle down to the Core 1. The top panel on the Core 1 is a pain in the ass to remove. It has like these stupid plastic rivets. It's dumb. The Core 1L, you reach in, you pop out 2 little plastic parts. They're what's the right term? They bend. They're designed to bend a little bit. They're compliant. And it's just a little lock system. So you boop them, they unlock, and the whole lid comes off because it hinges up, and you can remove the lid completely. Amazing.
They've definitely learned from experience.
Dude, the upgrades on the Core 1L, it's like, I know it's not that much of a new printer. It's just it's a Core 1 that took a blue pill.
Well, this is the point. Is user experience is what should drive a lot of decisions, and they've done it.
It was a blue pill with a multivitamin too, right? It is not only bigger,
you got your Flintstone gummies.
Yeah, it's got a Flintstone gummy in there too. And like, it's funny. There was a guy who was hanging out. He was like at a booth, like diagonally from where the Core 1L was. He's like, when the print's done, do you mind if I pop the parts off? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. I don't care. He's like, I've been hearing about the magnetic force of the new print bed, and the new heat bed and how good the magnets are. I'm like, oh yeah, they're like pinch your fingers strong. He's like, I really want to see it for myself. I'm like, okay. And he's like, oh my God, you're right. I'm like, yeah, you could almost lift the whole printer with
Yep.
the flexible print bed because of how strong the magnets are. I'm like, I'm now almost upset with how weak the other magnets on Prusas feel now.
So I don't think I've ever talked about. No, I have talked about this about steel beds versus aluminium beds,
No.
haven't I?
This is a spring steel sheet with an
Yeah.
aluminum bed with magnets embedded.
Yeah. But I actually told you like the reason we didn't go with a steel bed,
It was weight, wasn't it?
other than weight, because that was a big factor.
Oh,
It was the user experience again. On the C1, not the XL because it was a bigger plate, but on the C1, picking the bed like PEI sheet off would lift the printer because the magnetic force was so strong. Because if you have
yeah.
steel and then the magnetic sheet, it doubles the magnetic force upwards. It binds to the magnetic force, it couples with it, and then it grabs anything above better, like a ferrite does in a motor. That's why the motors use steel core or iron filing core. Yeah, they were so strong, you could lift the printer. And it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's also very satisfying.
It is.
Very
Yeah,
satisfying.
it is. It is a satisfying thunk. And like, don't get me wrong, I don't really ever have issues with the Prusa build plates. But like on the cheaties, every now and then we don't have issues with parts pulling up from the cheaty build plates. We have issues with the whole damn build plate warping with the part. Right? So bed adhesion is good, but the magnetic force isn't. And the cheaty magnetic force, it's just like one of those, fridge magnets, basically, right? It's the big stick-on piece of magnet. It's not great, but it's normally fine. I look at the Core 1L, I'm like, oh. Ooh. Now, and yes, I know I can get a Mandela Roseworks bed for the Cheaty +4, but with all the upgrades that you would need to put into a Cheaty +4 to make it reliable, just go get a Core 1L. Like, yeah, it's a little bit smaller in the XY. Instead of 305, it's 300 in the XY, but it's taller in the Z at 330 versus 285 on paper, but 265 actually usable, because if you go any further, you block the heater. Stock. You can print the upgraded heater for it that changes at 90 degrees and all that, but that's not my jam. I don't like that. I don't want to do that. I want a machine that just works out of the box, that I don't have to do a lot of modding to. I don't mind modding profiles. The Cheaties profiles are modded to hell and high water, right? Because we print the same stuff over and over and over again, so modding it is nice and simple. But I don't want to mod my machines. The only mod I've done to the Cheaty +4 is I've removed the front cover, because the front cover on the +4 is purely cosmetic. It does nothing of any function whatsoever. It is purely cosmetic. So I've removed it. But that's it. That's the only mod. And eventually I will do a new hot end. Luke. Pika. Luke. But otherwise, I don't really do anything. It's not my thing. I don't want to. I want machines to run out of the box without needing a bunch of effort. We are at 2 hours, so I do want to just, thank our sponsors one more time, but we are at 173 viewers, 89 likes. If we can get to 100 likes, I will test this lens to see if it's radioactive.
Yes.
I'm almost positive it is. The A72 is in the bedroom. Never mind. Because I was going to bring 2 camera bags with me, and like laying everything out on like the bed and like figuring out what lenses I want to take is the easiest way for me to do it. Because right now I don't have a very clear table to work on. So I was going to bring the A7 II, my full frame camera body, but I'm like, no, I'll just use the A6500. It's fine for taking photos, even though it's, micro 4/3, but these are full frame lenses. So this 50 becomes a 70. Which is fine. But yeah, that was fast. Okay, let's thank our sponsors, and then let's use a Geiger counter.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, huge thank you to Printed Solid for sponsoring the filament giveaway for this episode. If you do want to check out their awesome filament, you can do so by clicking a link in that description down below. They are now running a pretty darn serious Black Friday promo here with machines on sale. The cost of a XL in the States right now is disgustingly low. I'm like, damn, I almost want another one. Jesse filament is on sale. Prusament's on sale. All the filaments on sale. Both made in America Prusament, non-made in America Prusament. In fact, if you wanted to try Prusament and didn't want to spend a bunch of money on it, now is the right time to get the 2 kilo rolls from Printed Solid that are made in America. Do note, they don't have the perfect winder for 2 kilo rolls yet, so they're not perfectly wound. Yes, they're not like those really pretty wraps that you get from Prusa. They only have it for the 1 kilo rolls, but it's cheap and it works well, so I love it. Yeah, it's like $40 for 2 kilos, which for Prusament,
that's pretty good.
Damn good. It is damn good. And that's running through like the middle of December, early December, something like that. It's on their website. You can check it out, printedsolid.com. But yeah, if you do want to enter to win some Printed Solid filament, click the link in that pinned chat message and you'll be able to watch it. You'll be able to enter. Huge thank you to Construct 3D as well, the sponsor of this show. They make the UK's fastest and first bamboo 3D printer. They are business class machines for a business class environment now, with the brand new Construct 2 reaching over 100 cubic millimeters per second of flow, up to 8 kilograms a day without any of the BS lies that you see from other manufacturers, and a lights out production unit. So you're not standing by your machine once every couple of hours to change out filament. They are going to be shipping in Q1 of 26. Pre-orders are starting now. Get your place in the queue because it is a small business, and these machines being custom hand-built by actual people. Jacob's one of the builders. They can take a little bit of time. And I'm certain that if you asked nicely and you did buy a Construct 2 and you want a Jacob signature, he would sign it for you. Just saying.
100%.
Just saying.
You can also come to the factory and have a tour to see your machine being made and all the quality checks that go into making it.
That's fair.
Because nothing makes you like your machine more than actually being there to see it and being like, oh, that's my baby. That's the one that's coming to me. That's my one. And it just feels nice. Gives you that like level of not intimacy, but just like
it's pretty cool.
That attachment to it. It's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Winslow, we're not ending. We're doing a midstream, ad break.
Yeah, God no, we're not ending.
Because we have
I haven't even done mine.
We have bills to
I
pay.
still need to thank 3D Musketeers for actually hosting the entire channel and getting everything that's going. Because we would not be going to Form Next if it wasn't for Grant talking to me in the first place. And that was only happening because 3D Musketeers ran behind the scenes. So obviously what you see here is YouTube, but if you need anything that's 3D scanning, modeling, or CAD design, 3D Musketeers is the place to go. I have personally used their consultation feature multiple times in the development of Construct 2. And again, if you need anything going from that, like, hey, I've got an idea, to getting it made with the consultation, they can even make it with their 3D printing service. So that's 3dmusketeers.com. And it is something that I personally recommend every time. And I don't recommend things, and I recommend it.
And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, donate if you want to donate so that you don't have ads from YouTube. But we have hit that official mark. I've had the counter on for a little bit here, so it'll focus real quick. So you can see the average in my room is about 0.13 microsieverts per hour. I am going to take the lens and I'm going to put it to the detection area. It is on the detection area. Oh my... You see the red light flashing, Jacob?
Yep.
Yep, we're going to wait for that number to go up. It can take a little bit for it to go up, but I have a feeling we have a radioactive lens. It is going up, and it is going up quite fast. What? Why? No. Why'd you turn your screen down? There you go. Jacob, this lens is radioactive. Because at 1 microsievert an hour, this thing is going to start buzzing. This is a radioactive lens. Holy crap. It's not really spicy, but it is...
I want to take so many photos with it.
It is considerably more radioactive than my... We have doubled the average radioactivity of around me. I'm going to do the backside of the glass. Let's see the backside of the glass. Backside's going up fast. Okay.
And I should say for everybody watching, this isn't actually dangerous. Like, this is still well within safe limits. You could sleep with this under your pillow. Like, this
Yeah,
isn't bad.
like don't put
It's
it in your
just fun.
body. Wow, the backside is
Actually, you'd probably
much
be
more. Look how
fine.
the backside's much more radioactive.
Yeah.
This is an actually radioactive Super Takumar lens. Holy crap.
That's so neat. That's so neat.
You don't want to know what I paid for this.
How much?
Not a lot.
I'm
Not
actually
a
so jealous. Actually so jealous.
lot. So I bought this lens with 2 others from a guy on Reddit for $50. I put out a post looking for old vintage lenses, and he's like, I got a Super Takumar. Do you want it? I'm like, sure. It does have a little bit of mildew in it, but that's pretty typical for a lens that's this old. For those wondering, there's what it looks like. You can see the yellowing of it, and like there you can see my face upside down. But you can see, like literally, you can see how much more yellow I look there versus here, right? Like it is
The
it is
color
kind of
rendition's
obvious.
gonna be so nice to see.
Yeah, it is. It is really, really pretty. And it's thorium, so it's primarily an alpha emitter. And if you're like, oh, it's radioactive, you can go outside and just grab a bunch of dirt. That's got more thorium in it than this does. Thorium is one of the few like radioactive isotopes that we have an abundance of, and it's why there is this whole kind of weird push for that's not weird. I love it. A thorium nuclear reactor, because thorium nuclear reactors run so cold that you can use salt as a plug for it. So the reason Chernobyl failed is the system to dump all the radioactive material out into a cooling bath failed, and the backup failed. They both failed, and it went supercritical and exploded. Thorium, because it runs at such a cold temperature when you're doing fission on it, if it goes supercritical, it'll melt out the salt plug. It's a temperature thing. It will just melt it out. Durdactyl says 1.9 microsieverts an hour. Not great, not terrible. Totally agree. I could leave it there for a while. Look, this is a $40 radiation detector from Amazon with its detection area on the backside. This is not like a proper Geiger counter. So first off, thank you for the €2. Thank you. It is not a proper Geiger counter or anything like that. But, you know, like, come on, man. That's... Okay, there it goes. So now I turned it on, then put this right to it. It is buzzing at me right now.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't
You
know if
hit
you'll be able
the
to hear it.
Big 2.
You hear the
Speak
buzzing?
when you do it. You've got noise cancellation. No, you got noise cancellation.
Oh,
You have to
okay.
be speaking to get the noise through.
Well, it is
I heard a squeak.
It's got a little vibration motor in it. So, now there you go. 2-point-ish and climbing. So, yeah, suffice to say, she's a little spicy, and I had no idea. So, that's really cool. Huge, like, ups to the Redditor that sent me a radioactive lens, because I'm not certain they knew either. This, because it is radioactive, actually makes it incredibly expensive. I will never sell this lens. And yes, it gives such a... hey, Amber? Can you bring me the A7 II body? We'll see if I get the body. I'll show it, and I'll show some of the photos from it. It is a beautiful... The color rendition on this is beautiful. So Matt Weber said, even in your body, nuclear scientists are fighting against the exposure standard, since people live in areas where the background radiation of the planet is well beyond the linear scale livable. That's true. And then in areas like up in Colorado and up in the north, where your ground is like granite and stone, you end up with radiation there for radon. We don't have that here in Florida. It's not an issue because it's all
Oh,
sand.
no, we have a ton of that issue over here.
Yeah, so you have radon issues. Apparently you can run salt in a plutonium reactor as well, or uranium. I thought they're too hot. And yes, the problem with Chernobyl was lack of safety features. I know. And I am
Chernobyl
excited.
physically cannot happen with modern reactors.
You say
Just want to
that.
point out there, like Chernobyl was a very early generational device where they were just playing fast and loose with knowledge. Like they had a concept and they ran with it. We are so many more generations forward that we are now doing micro nuclear reactors that you can buy in a shipping crate with minimal oversight because that's how safe nuclear reactors are. Imagine how many nuclear reactors like you have nearby. They're called submarines. Do you know how many submarines went supercritical? None that we know of.
Well, okay, they're running much smaller. I was gonna say, how many nuclear reactors do I have around? Well, none, because it's Florida. We had one, and then, yeah, it wasn't Chernobyl, but there was a leak. So yeah. Anyways, radioactive lens. How cool is that? I've not traveled with it. I need to figure out what the legalities are of traveling with it. I don't think there's an issue.
No, it'll be fine. No, it'll be fine. It'll be more than fine. There's nothing.
Oh,
It's
there's
not
one in Jupiter?
radioactive.
Is it active, the one in Jupiter? Because I didn't think there were any active nuclear facilities in Florida right now. Well, that are for power, at least. Um Dale Dickey said, Grant, take it out to the street in front of your house. Florida's known for using slag for the underlayment of roads. Yeah, I don't think my area has that, but I'll have to try it. Oh, it's run by FPL. Okay, I didn't know that. Hey, there you go. I learned something new today. Go near the flock camera. Yeah, so I learned that the yellow super Tacumars, which this is a yellow super Tacumar, are often radioactive. There you go. My radioactive lens. So what did you want to get into today?
It's actually kind of hard to say because I like the research side. I've talked about VFAs, and that was really what I'm passionate about. Is this like weird science that nobody really focuses on? What else have I been recently doing? So I've been planning the keynote launch for Construct 2 recently. So that's one thing. So we did like the launch at a trade show, and that was rushed because we didn't expect to do it so early. But it was actually a really good show. What I really wanted though was like what we've done in this podcast, like a breakdown of concepts, and then do that as like a 40-minute presentation, NVIDIA style, and then put that forward because then you actually get to talk about the science behind why machines work the way they do, and kind of just dismissing all of the fake news around marketing. Like the belts, for example. Like,
Oh
why
God, yeah, the
does one belt
marketing.
work the other? Because do you know the new belts that we're using aren't GT2 belts?
What are they?
GT3 belts.
All right, what are your thoughts on the GT2 versus GT3 then?
Okay, so I'm actually going to open you up with a return question before I answer that. What do you think I mean when I say GT3 belts?
I don't know.
So what do you think the difference is between a GT2 and a GT3 belt is?
2 versus 3 millimeter pitch.
No, because it's a shitty naming scheme between two companies, Gates US and Gates the rest of the bloody world, have two different naming schemes. GT me is the generational name. Second generation belt is a GT2 belt with a 2 millimeter pitch. A GT3 belt is a 2 millimeter pitch belt, but it's the third generation of belt. So they stretch about 20% less. They've got a higher loading cycle, so you can stretch them more before they break. You can put more force into them before they start stretching. Uh, at the moment, you can't get them with a wax coating, which is a bit of a shame, but it actually doesn't matter because nobody really matters about that. It's a micro optimization of a micro optimization. But it's things like that. Like I like going into the detail of we are going to use this belt over this one because here is the research behind it. Because you will see like some not European company, like say our belts are better, like 1.5 GT, which is 1.5 mil spacing. It's not a generational aim. And they will just tell you that it's better because it's better, but not provide you research
Yeah, the
about
whole
why it's
research
better.
thing is an important factor for me. So I went to dinner with my brother and his girlfriend the other night. Should I show you? I don't want to show you pictures of him because he might not like that.
He looks
Let
like
me.
you.
Yeah, but he's not on camera
Just
very
say it's
often.
you. This is me. There you go.
I use this lens a bunch with Amber, so this was we went to dinner at a hot pot place. This is the lens. Okay,
That
so
is gorgeous.
versus that's a 28 millimeter. So you can see how it's way less yellow. The ones with my brother are much more obvious because I use both of my 50 mil lenses. So sorry, John. Let's see. Okay. This is the 28 again, but this is my brother. So that's him. Okay.
Yeah. It's you, but short hair.
That's the 50 with the Super Takumar. It's much more yellow.
It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, and it's sharp.
That,
it's pretty sharp too.
that color rendition is beautiful. Senbazu in the chat going, is any of the research published? Yes, and we are
Here's the
publishing more constantly.
1.7 50 that isn't radioactive. You can see the colors are much. God, can you actually like there? You can see
there you go.
The colors are.
They're warmer, but there's
They're
not
they're
as
nowhere
much
near
color
as
fringing.
warm.
No, they are warmer, but there's not as much color saturation in that warmer tonage.
Yeah.
Like it's all shifted instead of it being a compressed color space. So we've got one on the website on the front page. The second one should be going up in the next couple of weeks. And then once we do the keynote launch, that's all going to be on YouTube with all links to every individual research paper.
Everybody says
we
I'm
don't make our
quiet
own
now.
research papers.
Am I quiet now to you? Holy crap!
I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you through Zoom. You sound normal to me, but that's Zoom, not the stream.
Mic check. Weird. What the hell is going on? I can see that I'm low.
Anyone in the chat knows how to use OBS. Grant has been struggling with OBS just randomly like gain controlling his mic. There are no like obvious settings that change that. And in Zoom, he sounds normal to me. So I can't hear it to even be like, oh, it's this. So if anyone does know, that would be a good time.
Yeah, and like my microphone. Let's see. Yeah. So my microphone is not auto adjusting. Yeah. No. My microphone volume is set. It doesn't auto adjust. Nothing like that. So
it's
I
definitely
think it's
not
OBS.
a Windows 11 thing because I've got.
Well, if it was a Windows 11 thing, you would have no issues hearing me, or you would have issues hearing me. It's an OBS thing. It's almost guaranteed. It's got to be the noise suppression inside of OBS.
See, I didn't know OBS had noise suppression.
It's a filter.
Where'd you add it?
I turned myself up 2 dB. I'll turn you down a little bit. It's the little hamburger thing next to the thing. Filters, noise suppression. I mean, I'll turn off my noise suppression, but I don't know if that's going to help much. Anyways, yeah, Amber ran over. She's like, you sound really quiet. I'm like, all right, let me do what I can. Let's see. Someone asked a question. CZ Oliver, this is a Core 1 Index question. Do you think that Prusa will somehow figure out how to use the next extruder analysis on the Index upgrade? I don't know the answer to that. It would have to be steel. Is it steel? Wait, are next extruder nozzles magnetic? Hold on.
Wait, if there's stainless in them, yeah.
Yeah, they are. But where the nozzle is brass, right? So so it's a steel tube, mildly magnetic, not very magnetic. Copper slug here for the heat break, and then your heat sink, and then your brass nozzle. But the steel, yeah, they're gonna have to redesign things if they still use neck extruder nozzles. They're gonna have to redesign neck extruder nozzles. So, I don't know. Am I still quiet to people?
You sound normal to me. I don't know how to help. I feel
Yeah,
weird. I can't
how's
help.
my volume for everybody else? There's one person that's saying that I'm really, really quiet. Everybody else is like a little bit. I cannot turn myself up any further. I can bring the mic closer to me if you want. Volume's fine. Well, okay, is the volume fine compared to Jacob's? Jacob, you gotta talk.
Oh yeah, I need to talk then.
Yeah,
I was reading the chat going like, are people thinking that? Because like I can be here and I can be pretty loud and I can lean back a little bit. And now I'm over here. But then I can get closer and I lower my voice a little bit. And then you get a little bit of the radio vibe.
We can get right up on the microphone.
We can get closer. And when I get closer, I can
close.
ASMR tell you why you're
very
close. Shit. There we go.
Very close. Okay. All right, we're reasonably
cool.
Okay.
Same as me.
I hate showing my mic on camera, so I'm going to put it down a little bit.
See,
anyways.
I think it's nice because being able to like have a mic there shows that it's semi-professional.
Meh.
Also, if I have to get rid of it and then I move it there, I am now noticeably like I've lost a bit of the timbre of
yeah,
my
you
voice
feel farther away.
It's further away. I feel alien. In theory, it should be here, and I should be able to be talking like
this. Oh my god! Now you're
time.
so much louder than me. I know you're louder than me because I can see it on the thing.
Yes.
No, put it back where it was. That's weird.
And now you've got the British man talking in your ear holes about 3D printers. Please mind the gap.
Streaming right to your ear holes, right here on 3D Musketeers.
There we go.
Making awesome podcast streaming directly to your ear holes. Except if you're using bone conduction, then it's not streaming directly to your ear holes, is it?
Kind of is. It's going directly into the bone in your ear holes.
But that's
your ear hole.
The bone is
that's how it works.
It's past the hole itself. It's on the other side of the
diaphragm. You're bypassing the ear holes,
yes,
and you're just going straight to the noise device. Ugh.
So you're saying that we are streaming directly to your ear holes or around your ear holes right here on the Making Awesome podcast.
Oh.
This is the kind of crap that we deal with.
You know what I'm actually really disappointed with though, is I had to buy new headphones.
Yeah, I heard that.
Have the
dude, warranty them. Shox is so good about their warranty.
Yeah, there you go. I literally had to buy a brand new set for today because I was not gonna wear the broken one, and they're back in the original box that just came for these ones because the adhesive in the left ear failed. That's the second time now in 4 years the adhesive have failed.
So
and that sucks.
I've got a connection issue with mine where they'll sometimes cut out. And I reached out to them. They're like, oh, we'll just send you a new pair. I'm like, but these still kind of work. They're like, okay, so when they don't fully work, replace them for free. Here's the new pair. Like,
they are great with it. They are absolutely great.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, and look, daily wear, plus sometimes I wear them to bed, for almost 2 full years, every single day. That's pretty good. And they're actually the Open Run Pro 2s are on sale right now at Best Buy for like $85 US.
Open Run Pro 2s? These are Open Run Pro. These cost 160.
Mm-hmm. They're on sale. Said it was a sale.
They're really good. Though I will say their bone conduction side is a little bit less than the Open Run Pro 1s.
I like my Pros.
Because they've got the regular Pros are what I actually took with me to China, were just for the flight. Because putting these on, you can almost make out, but they're not good enough.
No. I bring Actually, I brought a bunch of, there's no better way to say it, chi-fi. So Chinese hi-fi, it's a whole thing. If people are into chi-fi, here's what I got. I got the kiwi ears, uh, whatever the hell these are. I don't know. The kiwi ears, what the hell are these? That tells me nothing about it. Nothing about it. Cool. They're the cadenzas. Cadenzas. Cadenza. Cadenzas. So kiwi ear cadenzas. The OKZs. Or sorry, QKZ and HBB ones. Loved these. These were quite lovely. And the Zero Dynamics as well, from Sol Notes. So these are the most uncomfortable of the three, but they are all very comfortable, and they were like $20 a piece. So, you know, I really like these. And I was doing just like comparisons on the plane with them. Because I'm like, I don't need all three. What I'm bummed about is I have a pair of Truth Ear Holas somewhere. I have no idea where they are. I have lost them. I can see the box, but they're not in the box. I love my Truth Ear Holas, and I don't know where they are. But what is cool is the Kiwis, the cadenzas, they are 3D printed as well. So they use resin printing for the cases. So
Interesting.
yeah. Right? Was it those?
That's cool.
I think it was. Nonetheless, I enjoyed them. But yeah, I use either wired or I use my Galaxy Buds for noise cancellation. Shocks are not good for high noise environments, not in my opinion.
The Pro ones, they're alright because you put the earplugs in. Once you put earplugs in, they're really good.
Oh. Catlet says you need to open the Android app for shocks and set them to the classic profile if you want the bone conduction to be back to the old pair. Apparently that's a thing.
Are you telling me I didn't have to bring 2 sets of headphones
Yeah,
to
you had
China?
2 sets of headphones the whole time. I'm like, this guy.
I did feel baller with one on my ears and one by my neck, and I would switch between.
Doofus.
And they actually came in clutch because I gave Amber one of my sets and then linked it to my iPad, and then she was able to then monitor more stuff as well. So she had her obviously in ears, bone conductors on, and then one ear off of both of them, and that worked great because she was monitoring then the stream we were doing for audio quality.
I could actually see that being pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Oh look, someone who joined and wasn't here for the initial last 2 hours of the stream. I have a question. Does the Prusa Core 1L finally have a belt pitch with 1.5 millimeter instead of 2 millimeter to mitigate the VFA to the smaller Core 1? Listen to the first 2 hours of this stream.
No.
Just
TLDR. Just retension your belts.
Yep. Yeah, the answer is no, it is GT2. It is significantly better, and 1.5 GT for getting rid of VFAs is, in my opinion, a bullshit myth. It just changes the harmonic frequencies. It doesn't get rid of VFAs. A little bit more than that. It changes. It takes them to different frequencies. But
very reductionist argument. But not wrong. Just reductionist.
Yep. Also, sorry to those who noticed we dropped some frames there. We are streaming at 1440p right now, and I forgot to change to 1080p. So we have to stream at like 13.5 megabits per second.
Oh no, I was just about to tell you, like, Spectrum is doing Spectrum and you lost a couple of frames on Zoom.
We've lost exactly an American level of frames, 1776, from the stream total, because one of the editors, someone logged into one of the PCs, and I'm like, I bet someone's in Parsec, and I check, and yep, somebody was in Parsec, so I had to tag them and be like, get out of Parsec, because they were...
The bandwidth says no.
Yeah, I only have 20 megabit bandwidth, and Parsec is limited at 10, so we were at 23.5, which is above 20, which you might add. Yeah. Anyways, Sorry, you want to talk about research and stuff like that, right?
Oh no, like I was saying, like how we have talked about research with the VFAs and the belts, and that's really like what I spend a lot of my time on is just esoteric research when it comes to machine design. Like
Okay.
how to make like one of the things that we're actually looking at doing is doing a completely new prototype like series of machines based entirely around bent steel. Because obviously extrusions are a very universally like ubiquitous
Oh
material,
yeah, everyone
but
uses them.
they're Chinese. Like the nature of extrusions is Chinese.
What's
And
the issue?
getting extrusions in the UK means you always have to go via China and you're dealing with a lot of logistical overhead to get them cut to the quality you
That'll do
need,
it.
to get them
Yep.
anodized. Like there's a lot more cost in extrusions than just aluminium being 20% more expensive. And then you get Prusa Research, who have done it correctly, going like, hey, the one thing our country still has is steel production. And you know what? The one thing this country has is steel production. So we have a lot of like flat laser cut steel production still like in house
Mm-hmm.
that we can go like, hey, can you fold, bend, tack weld, and powder
Right.
coat steel? They can't do it with aluminium. They can do it with steel. And
Hmm.
steel is fairly cheap. So we've been looking at like, hey, what would happen if we made like a very oh shit, world's going to pot. We need 3D printers of high quality, but we cannot rely on industrial um like logistic chains. Like
Right.
we have to insource everything. Like we have to go to the Sheffield foundry and get steel sheets made there, not buying them from overseas.
Damn.
And that's where the idea came from was like, hey, like what would happen if ships don't ship anymore? Planes don't plane anymore. We have to do it in the country. And
Right.
big choice was what do we make the frames from? Because that is the most important thing is how to attach the thing to the printer. And that was steel. So we've been doing a lot of research into steel frame or aluminium frame, but like sheet metal with tack welding. And it's been challenging. There's a there's complications. It makes what Prusa has been able to do with their hybrid construction or just their steel like bent metal construction even more interesting because it is not as straightforward as let's make a frame, tack them together, and bolt them onto something.
Right.
Because the resonance is an issue. Steel is easy to work with, hard to master. Yeah. And then you get view at your own risk saying aluminium constructed machines are cheaper to ship. Nope, it's actually not. They're the same price because it's volumetric weight. Unless they're flat packed, then steel is more expensive. But once you build a printer, you aren't paying for what the printer's made of. You're paying for the size of the machine because it's 90% air.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it becomes very expensive at scale. And that's the other side was like, hey, what if we make flat pack printers? And we make it so it's a 2-bolt assembly process. You have a print head and you have a print chamber. You just do a thing, you've got the thing done. It's all good. Like that was another option, but how do you tolerance them? How do you qualify them? Like this is nowhere gonna be like a product. It was just always like a thought experiment of, hey, the only piece of equipment we have now is a plasma cutter. What do we do? The only piece of material we have in front of us is refrigerator steel sheeting. What do we do? And it was quite interesting. Ironically, motors aren't the challenge. I thought motors would be the challenge. Neither is PCB. The UK has a couple of silicon foundries that can still make chips good enough for 3D printers. It's just mostly the sheeting and aluminium. Aluminium is not produced in this country anymore, so you have to import it.
Could you get it from like the Czech Republic or something like that?
What, steel or
They
aluminium?
either.
So, aluminium, the problem is like 90% of it is produced in China. All of the recycling is really done in China as well. Like a lot of aluminium is overseas now. Steel is something that Europe has a lot of. We still have steel mills and foundries and the more esoteric alloys. But aluminium, because of how ubiquitous it is, it's complete Southeast Asian like ecosphere. And that makes it a challenge if things go wrong. Also, quality control is dubious at best, even with good quality companies,
And like
which we've
I
been
guess
finding out the hard way.
that's where Prusa's kind of batten down the hatches, as you will, because they do as much as they can in-house, and then everything else they outsource as close to local as possible, right? So they're not reliant on other countries for manufacturing, which of course means their prices are higher, but in theory, Prusa shouldn't have like major issues with supply chain anymore. At
Let's
least,
just say,
until it comes down to like the chips, right? The silicon
well,
is still
you
mostly
can
going to
you
be
can mitigate that.
Chinese.
Europe does have integrated circuit production. It's just expensive, which is why a lot of it is done in China now, or well, Taiwan in particular. And just for reference, while I will not get into politics on this channel,
No.
As a company, we have been getting emails from our government that is just government recommendation emails. We get like 50 of them a week. There's tons of them. But a lot of them are expect certain disruptions coming up at a time in the future in 6 to 14 months. So we have to plan for that.
Is that just a political disruption, you think?
No.
Oh.
No.
I don't know, man.
You know about you know about geopolitics and the whole certain countries claim other countries as theirs and they might just take them, and for some reason America's like, we're gonna fight that.
I got it. Yep, I got it.
Yeah,
I got it.
there you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. No, I got it. And then my government's shut down right now, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, what's going on with that? Because all I keep seeing is people aren't getting paid. I'm like, how do people go to work knowing they're not going to get paid? Like, what's stopping them just staying home? Be like, I'm not getting paid. Why would I do it? Like, is that just like they're threatening? Like, if you don't do it, you lose your job afterwards type thing? I don't. If this was France, there'd be riots.
Jacob,
that's all I'm saying.
You're making a great question with answers that I don't have for you. Good. I don't have answers for you on this. You know what they're doing? They're hoping they get back pay. That's what they're hoping. They're hoping they get back pay. But a lot of these jobs are air traffic controllers, which if you've noticed recently, 10% reduction in domestic flights. There was an airport in North Carolina that was fully grounded because they did not have enough air traffic controllers. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Gilbert Narr says they will, but
I don't know. I've seen pay slips with a 0 on it. If there's a pay slip with a 0, that just means they've been paid 0.
Yeah, technically they still have to go to work. So ones that aren't going to work are using sick time or they're quitting. Yeah, you have to work for free, even though you have bills to pay. Your landlord doesn't care, but yeah. And here's Winslow Joy says, federal law states that federal employees are guaranteed back pay. The current executives say no. Or current executive says no. So that's the current thing. Once the government opens back up, if it opens back up, assuming it opens back up, we will know. But yeah, things are changing. There are some geopolitical issues going on all over the world. And yeah, suffice to say, traveling right now is a little bit risky. And
I bet you're going to love going to Europe.
Well,
and then not having to worry about this for an entire week.
So sometimes when we travel to Europe, we go up to JFK to then fly out. We have to get flights out of the country, out of either one of our local airports, which would be Tampa or Orlando. Flying in the United States right now, your flight is likely to get canceled, or at least heavily delayed. And TSA is heavily delayed right now. So we have to plan to be at the airport likely 6 to 7 hours ahead of time just to be safe. So I got to burn a whole day just waiting.
Interesting.
Now, I will 100% be using the fact that I am disabled to get through those lines. But yeah. Yeah. So Anyways, research. I want to talk about this because you specialize in research. That's your thing. Your thing is research, right? Why GT3? Because you went with GT3 or 3GT, I guess is what it's technically called, right?
So 3GT is the same as GT3 because the naming scheme is screwed. It's still a 2mm belt. It's a 2mm belt pitch. And the main reason is just it means we can have less tension in the belt for the amount of stretch. Because what we've been finding is we want to be running the belts at such a low tension. It's the borderline between belt slippage and completely fine. You do not get any form of belt stretch otherwise. And that means your VFAs from belt resonance or motor resonance kind of disappear. Because then the motor isn't coupled directly to the belt being perfectly translated to the movement. And then the belt resonance is also not being perfectly coupled to the print head. You have that intentional softness to the belt stretch because it's always a little bit before it starts going to hard stretch. And that's normally like 10 microns. It's like, it's such a low number, you will never see it in an actual print.
That's really, really
it's nothing.
low.
Yeah. But by doing it that way, a lot of VFAs disappear. Which is why you would see like on even like our older printers, the only type of VFAs you see are from the bearings in the V wheel, where we're using 4-year-old V wheels on our print farm. That's it. And that's an easy fix. That's just don't use old V wheels that should have been replaced years ago. That's it. So that's why we're going to GT3.
Zaxman is asking, why did Prusa not use GT3?
They've only very recently came out. It's a new product, mostly untested. There's no track record. You can't get them with wax coating, which is a bummer. But we're also using 9mm belts. We're actually using 10.5mm belts. So we have a lot of thick belts.
You've got some wide belts. Also, move to your left some. Your left. Thank you. So you're using 10.5mm width belts?
10.5mm width belts. It needs it.
Is that because your core? Is that because your belts are so long? Like, why are you using such wide belts? Or no, it's because you're moving so damn fast, right?
Both. It's a big printer with high speeds.
So do you think
if you go 6mm, you end up stretching the belt every time you apply force at that length, because the amount of stretch is just a percentage. If you are going to push, I don't know, on a, call it like a V0. On a V0, you pull 10,000 millimeters per second accelerations, you will get 2% belt stretch on a 6mm thickness belt. If you now 5 times that machine, it's still 2% belt stretch. The force doesn't matter. But because the belt is 5 to 20 times longer, that's when you see your quality defects kick in, because the tolerance is 20 times less. So the way you get around it is you want to minimize the belt stretch, go thicker. Thicker belt, less stretch. You can also torque it down more for less stretch, because you are now basically doubling up the amount of force you can apply over the surface. So you can still do our internal 2.6 foot-pounds without putting as much force into every component. So it's good. That's why we do it.
So did you
in reality, if we go any bigger, we are going away from Core XY, at least to a minimum. If we go from like a 350 by 390 print volume, which is the C2 at the moment, to a 410 by 410, which is the smaller size in our testing for whatever we do for Construct 3, we're either going with 4-motor drive because it halves the length of the belts, 6-motor drive because it halves the length of the belts again. You've seen the 6-motor drive, but you've probably forgotten it. 6 NEMA 23 motors on one print gantry. And this time that printer is using 1.2-inch wide pulleys for everything.
Jacob, just go to ball screws at that point.
Ball screws have an issue.
What?
We tested ball screws. They're hard. as in physically hard, meaning any misalignment will warp the rest of the printer because the rest of the printer has to be made out of tool steel then. And even that isn't as hard as a ball screw because a ball screw is chromium.
So what about like a rack and pinion?
Rack and pinion can work. You do like a double helix rack and pinion, and then you don't get a lot of the issue with each tooth biting it in, meaning you
Right.
get a pulsed step, but you do get backlash. So you need two rack and pinions where they're both toleranced in,
Right.
and then it
yeah.
kind of gets rid of it, but still backlash is the big thing, and you have like a noise to speed ratio where you kind of have to do them on the bottom, then have another at the top so they're constrained, then tolerance them in so there's no backlash, and then you get a lot of losses to noise and everything. That one is better for what we call gantry style, where it's like meter
So,
by meter printers.
so for an isoprint, right? We were at
Yep.
FiberSeek in China. An isoprint is there as well, same company. They're using ball screws. They're
Yes.
using aluminium.
Yes. Go figure.
Are they just dealing with it?
I think what they've actually done is a really smart decision.
But you normally leave the end of the ball screw semi-floating.
You're supposed to. Now,
Yeah.
a lot of places will constrain them because industrial machines constrain both ends. But an isoprint had one thing that I think has saved them without them realizing, though they've got very good engineers out there. The base of the printers are cast plastic.
Okay.
Meaning there's an allowable flex in the cast plastic. They're not going to warp the frame of the printer because the frame of the printer is aluminium, but the bracket at the very bottom holding the aluminium in place, plastic. So that will warp,
So
allowing
that
the
gives you
ball
the
screws to
warp.
align.
That gives you the
Yeah.
warp.
But I think that's complete accident.
It's thunderstorming outside right now, so I've turned off my noise suppression. You might miss it, but I don't think the folks at home are going to miss it. I think they'll be able to get it. There was a pretty big thunderclap. That was like my we are fully on battery backup. You might see my hair light, which is just the room light, go off. You'll know. I'll like look around as soon as the power blips or power goes out. We are on battery backup. The show will go on. As long as my internet stays on, the show will go on. Okay, so like I look at the XL, right? The XL is a 365 cube, although XY is 365. That's what we care about here. They're using 6mm GT2.
I think that is a mistake.
Yeah,
personally, like you can use print profiles to get rid of it,
but you got the tension on the XL is weird, and there's no front brace, right? So half of the front of those extrusions, they're like 2040s. No, there's some. No, it's a 3030 extrusion with some steel stuff on it.
Yeah.
Half of it is fully cantilevered. So at the front, my thought isn't it going to want to try to pull together?
We are talking about the Prusa XL here with the cantilevered frame.
Mm-hmm.
No, it won't try to pull together because the gantry going across is the reinforcement
that
spar.
becomes the reinforcement. So then why did they put a cross section on the Core 1 and Core 1L? There's no way that was just because of the light.
Probably side. Like you do have an internal force,
but there was no way
when
it was
you
just
tension
because
them in.
of the light.
But most of it's back and at a 20-degree angle is where the force direction is.
Okay.
It could just be sizing. Like when you make them thinner, the force will apply more impact. Also, having something across the front is nice for doors, for enclosures, for paneling. Like it does have benefits. It makes it a lot stiffer because now you're not worrying about the printer twisting. Whereas, like you've seen our unified gantry, back in Smurf 24, where it's the U frame or the A frame is what we call it. That works great, but the chamber that goes under it was going to be a cube. It wasn't going to be an A frame. It was going to be a cube. and it was all going to be plated with cube design
Got it.
because we don't want the chamber to twist.
Right.
Uh,
Hmm.
So there is benefits to doing both. Like the printer, which is just the top 3 inches, doesn't care. Doesn't care.
Okay. So the VFAs on the core on not the core on the XL are likely just the belts being the belts and stretching.
I think a
Now,
mixture between the belts and the profiles.
I
Like
have
the print
never
profiles can be optimized.
it's like I have never tightened or tensioned the belts on my XL ever. They are however it came stock. The XL in theory could do the stroboscope. I wonder if they'll do it. It'd be pretty cool if they could. Because so the XL has lights that go down the y-axis.
Oh yeah, it
on
would
each
do it.
side.
It would just do them on the sides instead. Like the belts on the side. So that's how I actually tension ours. Is I tension on the sides of the printer.
No.
So while we're using the clip at the front, I look at the sides where the belts go forward and backwards.
But for the
as the
stroboscope
tension
effect,
point.
for the stroboscope effect
Yeah.
is what I mean. Oh yeah,
It would
because
work
okay,
on the
they
side
could
of the-
tension the belts that run back. I got you.
Yeah. So it's the same tensioning system. It's just where you look is going to
like-
be in a different place.
My L was with unexpected values, so I did not need to do it. So expected values for the L were between somewhere in the 70s to somewhere in like the upper 80s, and I was at 80 and 81. So it's like, you're good, no need to tension your belts. And it worked. Olaf saying stroboscope tuning for Clipper. That'd be cool if that could happen. I don't think it's there yet, though. Is that possible?
Yeah.
In
We
Clipper?
could do it with, yeah, do you know how easy it would be?
No.
Plug light into a fan port. Tell Clipper, this is your maximum PWM frequency, which in this case would be like, what, 200 hertz? And then just choose a frequency and do it that, because it's just a PWM pulse. It's an equal on-off, or you could actually do it with unequal on-off, but equal on-off, set it onto a fan port, and then when you want it looking normal, it's at 100, and then if you want it anything less, you do it less. And do you know how I know that works? We did it with motors, because we actually plugged 2 motor coils into fan ports, and then we got the fan ports to try and resonate the motors backward and forward, and then we just slowly raised the PWM frequency until we got the resonant frequency of the motor. It's a dirt cheap way. It is a filthy way to do it. It works. It works great. So yeah, you could do it in Clipper pretty easily. Like, I'm pretty sure you could do it to Clipper in like less than 10 minutes without rewiring anything, as long as the wires were plugged into a port.
If your lights dim, you could just do it from your light port as well, right? Or is it just easier to do it from the fan
no,
port?
it's that. Do you know how the lights dim? It's a PWM frequency.
Right.
But they're doing the frequency so fast.
Oh, you
don't
notice
see
the
it.
flickering. You actually need it
so
to flicker.
You need it to flicker. So all you have to do now in RepRap firmware, whenever you set a fan, you can tell it what is its switching frequency. By default, we set it to like 10,000, just so it changes 10,000 times. It's whatever the default is.
Mm-hmm.
But we've lowered it to like 2 before, where it's literally tick tock, and we got a flashing light from that. We did it at 100 to get a motor that we could control in pulses, and that was a DC motor. You can just tell it, hey, put the Q value to 200, and then on the slider in the fan control, you can just slide it along, and whatever that number is the frequency that you're searching for, and it would work. And it would work pretty good.
I'm upset with how simple that is.
I was literally just thinking, like, I hope my IP lawyer isn't listening to this, because he would literally be like, Jacob, that needs to go in the black book. That's something you don't tell people, because that's industry knowledge. I'm like, oh, I don't care.
You know,
Anyone that spent more than 3 minutes thinking about it would have been able to go, oh, you need a pulse? Well, just look at what can make a pulse on the motherboard. It's a fan port.
Fair.
Yeah, that's how I would do it. It's almost like that's maybe what I might be doing. Just saying. Got fully controllable LED lights. there's no reason we wouldn't be able to pulse them.
Olaf said we can set FPS for NeoPixel animations in Clipper. We could just turn them on and off with FPS, double the frequency target, and set cycle time super high.
Exactly.
Yeah. TechJaper said, is there a camera that has to pick up the stroboscope? No, your eyes. Your eyes do it. You will see it. It's like a regular... Think of it like a timing light for a car. It's the same thing. It's just for belts. And the instructions are kind of difficult to understand until you just start turning the knob and then you see the belt start to move. You're like, oh, that makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. Super low means for fast BWM. Got it. You would have to figure out what the optimal frequency for the belts are. Well, I guess you don't have to. The belt would tell you, but you would know what the optimal range would be. So the belt will tell you what it wants to be because that'll be where it resonates. But you would want to know what the optimal range is to get rid of vibrations, and you can tighten or loosen the belts based on that. Because like the guitar pick tuning, right, where you like twang the belt and you measure it with your phone, I've never really liked that. The method
I don't like it because you don't know what it's picking up on.
Well,
is it the machine resonance or is it the belt resonance?
But
because they both make noises.
You also have an issue with amplitude in air.
Yeah.
So the density of your air will change how those belts sound. Your humidity, all of that starts to impact the twanginess of the belt, but the air density does. And then the one where it's like the little spring compressor thing, and the one that West 3D sells, that was an open source thing.
The one that I have.
Yeah, the one that you have. I like
them. I rate them the best tool in the market, straight up.
It is a great tool, but when you compare it up against the stroboscope, no.
But the stroboscope requires you to know what that frequency is for the tension. So you still need to know what the tension is. Now, the Wes 3D one doesn't tell you what the resonant frequency is. It just tells you what tension you've tensioned it to.
Okay, fair.
The stroboscope will give you a tension based on a frequency. And it's almost impossible to figure out what that frequency is, because if you loosen your belts and then you retighten them and they stretch a bit, that tension will change where the frequency might not change as much. Whereas no matter what happens, you're using the frequency to find a tension, or well, apply a tension. One of them is the number, you're searching for the number. The other is the derivative of the number that gives you something else, and you're looking for the derivative. And that's all the stroboscope does. It makes it very user-friendly to look for that tension without having a tool to measure the tension. Does that make sense?
It does.
It's like one of them's measuring the white lines on a road, like how fast the white lines are going past the car, whereas the other one is actually measuring the length of the white line.
Got it. There's got to be... I think that's probably one of like the greatest things that Prusa's come out with. Like, I love the Core 1L, but I think in terms of the community impact, the belt stroboscope has got to be one of the potentially most valuable community impact things that Prusa's come out with recently. Now, Prusa Lysa 3.0, I think, could change that with some of the things they've teased. However, we haven't seen it yet. So I don't know. I look at it and say, damn, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And I'd like to see more printers do it, because I think that would make belt tensioning easier. Because, like, I remember back in my day, when we didn't tension belts, belts came with springs on them. They came with a coil spring on them. And that coil spring is what held the tension. As the belt stretched, the spring would compress and, it would pull the tension out. But nobody bothered to think about the implications of that spring will act like a spring. And if you're moving your machine fast, the spring will become like a shock dampener. But in doing that, it extends the belt a little bit in that process. It's like, dude, I don't care about
I mean,
belt
I'm going to say
tension.
that I don't think the spring really did as much of a negative impact as most people said it did.
So then why don't we use it anymore?
Because Core XY, you can't use them on Core XY. They only work on Cartesian device. Because
Because the
Core
way the
XY, the belt moves
yeah,
more than the length
yeah,
of a
that's right.
side.
Okay. Yep.
And with Input Shaper, which is basically what the spring was kind of doing,
Yeah. God, it
you
really
don't really
was.
need it. Input Shaper is the big difference between Generation 3 and Generation 4 printers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even now, I do say, like, Construct 1, when we launched it, was not a Generation 4 printer. It was a Generation 3. It was the final one in Generation 3.
The XL wasn't a Gen 4 either.
No, it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't. And then when printers got Input Shaper, they became Gen 4. Like, it's why, like, we could say, like, we had market dominance back at Gen 3 was the competition was a Prusa Mark 3. And we were printing at 200 to 300 millimeters per second without an Input Shaper.
Right. Right.
That was the big selling point. When Input Shaper came out and the Mark 3 became the Mark 4 with Input Shaper and our C1 became the C1 with Input Shaper, that just shifted all the market along. It didn't really change anything. The hardware didn't change. It was a software upgrade. And that's the difference between Gen 3 and Gen 4. But now we're starting to see the big differences come out, which is, again, it's mostly software. Software nozzle design is the difference between Gen 4 and Gen 5.
Really? Nozzle? Oh, you're saying like high flow nozzles.
Higher flow nozzles, pressure advance improvements. Input shaper hasn't changed that much, no matter how you classify it, and tool changes. Like, that's the big difference. Like, it's gonna
Yeah.
be more user features. It's gonna be faster, it's gonna be better, but it's not gonna be necessarily a hardware change again. It's gonna be small hardware changes.
Okay. And that's fair.
Yeah.
Olaf, Index making printers Gen 5. Yeah, because
No,
honestly,
printers will be Gen 5 with Index, just straight up. And it's not
Index.
even Index, it's the heating of Index that makes it Gen 5. It's the fact that the control loop of how it heats up can now be dynamically done with speed because it's responsive.
But
You don't
outside
have a
of
time lag.
Vortec, which copy my homework,
Vortec,
Vortec.
I will say right now, is not Gen 5. It's Gen 4. It's a Gen 4 tool changer.
It's a Gen 4 tool changer, yes, because it
Index
still
is Gen
requires
5.
quite a bit of purge still, because it's still cutting the filament and
But
relying on
even
an
if
AMS system.
it's not about the purge. It's not about the purge. That's just a downside of the system.
What is it
It's
about then?
Index, the big thing that separates it from Gen 4 to Gen 5
Mm-hmm.
is something that Index doesn't even develop. It's a side effect that Index has provided that will only happen once people get Index in their hands and then the slicer keeps up and firmware keeps up.
It's the dynamic
Because
temperature control, right?
dynamic temperature control based on heating.
But Vortec is
You
also
can
induction.
yeah, but we don't know if they can cope with the speed yet. If they can do that,
Oh,
and then
okay.
they can do the software side, then yeah, they will become Gen 5. Because Gen 5 is entirely, I'm now going to get a sudden influx of filament flow rate, heat nozzle up further. I'm now going to slow down that nozzle and I need to dump the heat instantly, stop heating and drop the temperature by 50 degrees if you need to.
Right.
That's Gen 5, is that ability to just choose a temperature and it hits the temperature.
Right. Okay.
That's Gen 5.
Yeah, Index obviously does that. That's
Yeah.
that I still think is like, and it's why I look at like the benefits of Index over the XL. It's like, unless you need that space, homie, I am glad that Prusa is gonna have Index. I wasn't expecting it, stupidly. But man, there's like this weird amount of buyer's remorse for the XL. It's like, I like my XL, but it's not Index. you know? Let me see. I don't have much else to talk about on that subject. Do
No,
you? No?
no, not really.
Okay.
Like, it's been a really slow week for news, really. And we've been working quite hard
Well,
for
because
this week as well.
Form Next is gonna be Form Next is gonna, everyone's like waiting for Form Next. You know, Bontech put out a teaser, because of course they did. That's all they ever do.
Yeah.
Olaf, you just one
Hmm.
big tease, you silly goose. Um, so we were at Maker Faire. So Maker Faire Orlando yesterday. It was a great event. Bunch of creators were there. We were not invited to the creator panel. We were not invited to the creator area.
Oh,
I don't know why. But I asked one of the, event coordinators, like, oh, that was handled by a third party. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I want to know who I got to speak to for next year so we can be on the panels and stuff. I'd love to be on more panels. We brought the Core 1L, so that was awesome to see it there. Maker Faire Orlando is such a different. You're used to Rep Fest. You ever been to a Maker Faire?
no.
Maker Fairs are really different. So Maker Faire Orlando is a lot of craft, a lot of showing off what you do. So a lot of big cosplayers will come out, set up tables, and show off what they do. Why wasn't Allison Chase? She does some amazing cosplay work. Why wasn't she with the creators? She's like known locally and has won national cosplay awards. Why was she not? Huh. Anyways, there were a lot of great cosplayers there. The thing you don't see at Maker Fairs often are 3D printers. You might have.
Really?
One,
Or is it just because they're so normalized to using it as a tool? It's not the cool thing.
Right.
It's just a part of the process.
Right. And the thing with Maker Fairs is that, like, so Rep Fest, basically no one sells things, right? It's more of like a show off of tech. If you want it, buy it online, right? Maker Fairs, there are artisans, booths, and crafting, and there are multiple crochet booths. There are multiple people selling dragons and things like that. But there was also like an RC airplane booth. There was a they didn't have the steamroller this year. I didn't see the steamroller. Maybe they didn't have it this year, but they normally have a steamroller to do printing, using a steamroller as a printing press.
Yeah.
Yeah, an actual steamroller as a printing press.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I didn't see that this year because it's normally like front and center when you walk in. It's a big freaking steamroller. They had the make your own slushy, which is a human hamster wheel that you run in to make a slushy.
Okay,
yes, they have stuff like that. They had the belt sander races. They had the power wheels, the power wheels races, which are like souped up power wheels. Like they are not your the power wheels of yesteryear. They've got horsepower. There was a whole drone zone to do FPV and non-FPV quadcopter stuff. A lot of, showing off your craft and what you do.
Yeah.
So it is very different from your traditional like Rep Fest. I really like it. Same Old Chain says a lot of artisans, crafters, and makers outside of the norm. It's one of the last unique maker fairs around. I agree. Prusa was not there. Revo Point wasn't there. They were there last year. They weren't there this year. DMC was there. Not the DeLorean motor car, but the company that makes mills. Timeplast was there. You know Timeplast? They make like the soap filament and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in Castleberry, so they're like 2 hours from me, but I know exactly where they are. Rob Lutter, Rodeo versus State Fair. You know what? That's actually a great way to describe it. Matt Weber said, Maker Fairs are where you find just how small the world is because you pick something up and find that you are handling something you know was designed by another maker you heard of. Yep. Yeah. I really like it, though. Like Shane says, it's like one of the last holdouts of unique Maker Fairs. And while there was a company that did UV printing, but not like with a UV make, but with like big UV printers. Yeah, so they were there, they were displaying, but there's a lot of hands-on stuff too. So there's a learn how to solder, there's, learn how to use power tools. And the power tools stuff, they have so many like hands-on stuff that is very heavily positioned toward women and LGBTQIA plus. So the more of the bringing people other than dudes, right?
Yep.
So there's this whole area that's like learn how to use power tools, and everybody that's running it are in like fairy tale dresses. They're dressed up like Cinderella, and I think that is awesome because you're making the power tools less scary. And especially for young girls where they're often told, "Oh, this is just for guys." This is an awesome way to get hands on. Same thing with learning how to solder. Like, dude, you would take home a project. They would show you how to do it. You would do it, and you would take home the thing. They even had a DIY screen print where you made your own t-shirt, your own screen printed t-shirt. That is what I love about Maker Faire Orlando, because they have all this hands-on stuff, and this is what they do. That's the stuff that I love. Shane says Detroit Maker Faire was the best around in his opinion. The maker community took a hit when they stopped. It put the World Maker Fairs to shame. Oh man, I never went. That would have been cool to see it. Steve Knobs says, as an LGBTQ, I take offense at the assumption I can't use a power tool. Well, that's not my fault. That's statistics. Don't blame me, blame statistics. It was inside the Henry Ford Museum. Oh my god. That's
cool. A good location.
Yeah.
That's a cool location.
That alone makes it worth it. But did they have live combat with full contact? Now, see, the thing is, in Florida,
you've now seen it in person.
Was it a couple of drunk guys that put on that put on armor and beat each other up, or were these actual, performers? Oh my god, it had live combat fighting. Shane said, "Damn it,
brilliant." Fine. So see that I get to like quiz you on this now because now you've seen it in person. What did you think?
I think what you do is for babies. The plate armor and beating the piss out of each other is way better than the.
Well, no, we do that as well.
What is fencing with stiffer swords?
I am gonna get you in the entire getup, and then you're gonna be like, "Oh, and I realize why it looks this way."
I'm gonna keep shitting on it just to piss you off.
No, it's fine because I also do the other side. I do both. But now you've seen both. Like, medieval combat actually kind of goes hard.
I mean, by definition, it does.
It very much does. When you're just there like, we're both in armor. Our weapons aren't really designed for anti-armor. So the only solution we have is I'm going to bludgeon you to death through the armor and just curb stomp you over and over again until you stop standing up. Because literally, like in medieval fighting, like if night on night action wasn't common.
Oh, Shane said it was robot battles, not medieval combat. They had robot battles there too. They had the robot ruckus, which is smaller battle bots, but because Witch Doctor, is it Witch Doctor? Yeah, they're local.
Yeah,
so they bring out the real battle bots. So people get to see them, touch them. They'll do a little demo here and there, but they don't fight with them because we don't have a cage for it. But they're doing like featherweight, antweight, and lightweight, I think. And it was all sponsored by Polymaker. So Polymaker provided a ton of filament to people. I saw Joel from Polymaker. He was there hanging out because he's kind of local. No, he's in Texas. Whatever. They flew Joel out. Joel 3D Printing Nerd was there. David was there showing off his shoes as well. Willow Creative was there. Frankly Built was there. There was another creator who Amber knows, but I don't know. They do a lot of like melting of plastics to create stuff. It was a really, really cool creator. Yeah. I don't know. I really like Maker Faire Orlando, and if it wasn't for the show, I would be back there today. It's odd though,
That's a
because
shame.
like from a content perspective, we don't have a ton to film there because people want to see stuff about 3D printing. We've
I would
tried
have just filmed and done it.
the cost of editing doesn't always make it worthwhile. It's like
Just slam edit it. Just be like, blah, 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 blah. Low effort. Do it. Done. Content fast.
we're not like that. Okay, so Polymaker Joel's from Ohio. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not there yet. But we did film some stuff when we were there, just a little bit with the Core 1L. Did some B-roll around the facility. So I'm sure we'll use it at some point, but I think there is a lot of value to Maker Fairs. They're not what you expect. You know? But
Yeah.
it's like we met our crochet artist at Maker Faire Orlando last year. So we said hi to her again this year. She had basically already fully sold out on Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of money gets spent. And I like that because it's supporting your local community. So, and of course, the thing I love about Maker Faire is we go to Domu. So we had the Domu wings, which are amazing. And I tried a different ramen for the first time. It was a ramen without a broth, so it's more like a bolognese, but the meat in it is Wagyu.
That's not a ramen then.
It's not. It's called something else. The name escapes me. Doug says that's a great video, Grant, the value of Maker Fairs. We might enjoy it, but I don't think the community as a whole would find it as a video they would click on. And that's the tough part.
So always try it.
Well, I guess next year. They didn't film it
Yeah.
this year, so try it next year. Yeah, well, it was great meeting people and saying hi to people. But yeah, Domu, I love Domu, so we ended up a vet's niche. A vet's niche was the other person. Amber put it in the chat. Was the other person. Just amazing cosplay work. But yeah, I really like Domu. A vet's niche. Sure. Yeah. Amber, you can link to their channel and put it in there. But yeah, we went to Domu. Loved Domu. Loved their wings. Tried different foods while we were there that I haven't had before. So 10 out of 10. Always. And you know, we got to take up the Maker FX people for a while. We went out to dinner with them. We were trying to get all the creators to go to dinner. You know, everyone go to Domu, but Frank has family in Florida, so he was going out to dinner with family. I never heard back from Willow. I'm assuming she did something else. And David Tobin told me that him and Joel were shot and they were just going to bed, basically. So they missed out on all the fun.
Yeah.
We were chatting till almost 11:30 at night, and it's an hour and a half drive back from Domu.
Oh, that just reminds me. I need to beg David to see if I can't get a pair of his new shoes. I need new shoes so badly. I still haven't found them since China.
Oh no. Well, maybe Germany or Prague will give you some you know, some fun.
It'll be nice. I like the idea of having 3D printed shoes, being a 3D printed company guy. It's just wear what you believe in. And I like that. I do.
Well, anyways, I think it's a good place to call this
I think
one.
that's everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
This entire stream for everyone watching has literally just been me and Grant have worked way too hard this week, so we're going to chill out and just chat for a while.
Yeah. But I think it's what people like. People like the fact that even if there's not a ton for us to talk about, we can still have a good back and forth. So that's what I think is valuable. So yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let's do our send off and we'll give away a couple hours of filming. You want to do it? Or you want me to?
You are going to have to. No, please don't, because all my monitors are dying, and the one monitor that has my notes.
Oh no.
Is
oh yeah, that's the one with the cheat code for what we're supposed to say.
Cheat code on.
Yep.
And the problem is I do know it. It's just I will ruin it the moment I start saying it.
I have one more thing. Oh, I forgot. Okay. So we were hanging out at Maker FX last night. hanging out
Okay.
Maker FX last night, and I was talking about AI art, how I don't like it, and a lady came up,
Oh.
and she had what
You
I
know, you've
think.
just started like a 40-minute
No,
conversation, and
no,
I'm all here for
I.
it. No, no, no. This is a 40-minute conversation. This
Oh
is
God,
happening now.
I don't need it to be 40 minutes. I am so
Too
tired.
bad.
We have
Too
we have
bad.
trip planning to do, Jacob. We have stuff to do.
I don't care. You started it.
All right. Well, I was saying how I don't like AI art. She said, "Why?" I said, "Well, it's training on, everybody else's copywritten work." She said, "That's how regular artists train. How do you train
Yeah.
to become an artist? You look at other people's art, you learn how they did it, and you build something that is emulated based off of all of that." And she said, "Does that mean that art that you produce is, you know, based on copywritten work?" Well, sure, technically. I'm like, wait a minute. That, like, I
Have
said,
you?
like, I stopped for a second. I'm like, that broke my brain. That has to be the best, the best argument I have ever heard for AI art. But they provided a caveat.
Uh-huh.
The
Yeah.
caveat is it's how it's presented. She's like, if someone goes to
Yes.
a art show and tries to sell their prompts and that have created artwork as original art, she's not okay with that. And I agree. I said, I don't have I hate that. That I don't like. She said, but
Oh.
she said, here's a drawing that I did of a photo that I took of an area that I was, and I did a live drawing there. I put it into AI to make it look more like a professional drawing or professional painting. Oh, well, I don't have any issues with that. That's great. I mean,
Yeah.
that's totally fine.
So, you know what's even cooler about that entire argument with the whole like what you like and what you don't like? What's your stance on shadow artists? So, say you are an artist, like this actually happens a lot in
Like
like the
ghostwriting.
professional art world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like ghostwriting. You will have an artist do the art based on what somebody else has said. And it's not that it's, oh, they've given a prompt and they've gone done it. No, it's literally another artist has gone to somebody else and subcontracted the art to them and said, it needs to look like this. Here's a quick sketch, go get it done, and here's a description. What difference is there between you, a person, doing the same thing with an AI tool, or using a human slave to do it that you pay them money to do the same thing over a little bit longer time?
I
It's basically the same thing.
I understand where
But
you're
there's
going
one
on
big
that.
difference. There's one huge difference, and this is what makes a lot of people immediately dislike AI art, and it's effort levels. AI art has democratized art by making the
It has
standard of
lowered the
effort
barrier
required.
significantly.
Yeah, not the barrier to entry, because everyone can do art at every level. It's just the amount of effort you need to put in to get something out has now been reduced. And that's what a lot of people pick up on is bad art that uses AI art isn't bad art because AI art is generally quite good. It's low effort art. It's somebody has done like, here is a stencil and I've claimed the entire stencil is my artwork. It's not. And that's why you see all these AI pictures that all look the same
That is
because they don't
exactly.
understand the tool.
But you know what? It wasn't until I talked with this gal that this clicked for me. And
So I have a perfect example of a very unique art style that I wanted to replicate perfectly, but also with my own twist. So I am, for everyone who doesn't know, I used to do artwork professionally when I was growing up. In college, it paid for me to get through college. I was specifically more on like the color rendition side. So somebody would do the artwork, they'd give it over to me, and I'd do the touch-ups. I'd change the colors a bit. I would make it more cohesive. That's what I used to do. I don't have time for art. I run a business. So when I started playing this role play game called Cyborg, the artwork in it is gorgeously designed. It is laminated, it is UV inked all the way through. It is a gorgeous book full of different art styles colliding with each other. And one of the things that is very difficult with these type of arts is to find other art like it. So I manually scanned in every page of this book to then learn or well train an AI model to regenerate different artwork styles. So I could do a quick sketch with a rough amount of colors and everything, and I gave it very, very specific instructions. It wasn't just make me drawing of dog. It was book and verse of what I want to see, how I want to see it, what color spectrum do I want to use. Like it was all the artistic decision was on me. I used a tool to make more art. And then I used that in the campaigns that I ran. Also, very good roleplay system. It's based on the Morkborg system. Highly recommend. The artwork is gorgeous. It glows in the dark.
So I guess I wanted to kind of leave and just put that out there. And it has changed the way that I have considered AI art. The low effort stuff is still slop. But I think if you're using it as a way to add, beef up something or buff something, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But if you're using, if you're just writing a prompt as a means to copy, like, oh, make me this, but in the style of Salvador, make me a Pikachu, but in the, design of Salvador Dali. No, no, no. If you hand drew a Pikachu that looked like Salvador Dali or was in the, design of Salvador Dali,
Yeah.
and you asked AI to, turn it more cartoonish, like it was an actual cartoon, I'm fine with that. That's fine. You're using it as a technique to add value. You're not using it to create value from nothing. The low effort AI slop stuff. And there were a couple of booths.
You see it.
That were just
AI slop is the equivalent of Flexi Dragons. Nobody cares. Nobody likes it.
Yeah.
People still buy it, though.
My stance on AI art has always been, I don't want it anywhere near my company. But I think, when the way that she said it and the way that she presented it had me shift the way that I feel about it. I'm still giving it time to marinate, right? And kind of see where I land on this 100%. But right now, I don't hate it as much as I did 2 days ago.
So I use AI art quite heavily in pre-production to gauge like aesthetics. I'll even actually give it 3D models.
That's
and
fine.
I'll ask it to render the 3D model.
You're not using it for final stuff. Who cares?
But we do use it for semi-final stuff. Like it heavily impacts the output. So one of the things that it's not live on the internet, so nobody can see it. But most of like our upgrades to our website, while AI art can't make words, it can't make book and verse and pictures and everything. What we can actually do is be like, hey, I've got this industrial application. This is the product stack. Give me color schemes and like layouts for a website, just so I can see from like 1,000-mile distance, what should the flow of an industrial website with a good design aesthetic look like? Should it go left, right, up, down as a flow? Could it have a big picture to next to loads of little pictures? Like you can then block them out. It's the same as like, have you ever learned about how logos should be designed, just in general?
No.
Is that they should be printable on the world's worst fax machine.
Oh, yes.
So black and white.
Yes.
You should be able to recreate them at a glance. But also when you're designing them for the first time, you don't draw big pictures. Literally, you will get a notebook and you will section out the entire page of a notebook and you will do post-it note, not even post-it note sizes. A letter post. I'm having a strong. What's the name of them? Bloody stickers to post things with.
Post-it note?
No, I'm having a strong.
A sticker to post something.
Postage stamp. There we go.
Oh,
postage
a stamp.
Stamps. There we go.
Oh,
as I said, I was having a strong. I should have known
to
that.
post something with. See, in the States, we say mail something with.
Oh. A mail stamp, like about an inch big, half an inch wide, maybe an inch by an inch.
Yeah.
All of our, even Construct 3D, we did about 180 logos as inch by inch, just quick sketches. And then we were able to reduce what we liked about each sketch into the final design. And that was how you do it. I use AI in that method where I'm like, hey, generate me 1,000 low quality images, and then I can see what I liked about the images that activated my artistic streak. And I did it on the website. So I literally have like 500 generated images of the front page of what a good design bureau website should look like. I was like, oh, I like this color scheme. So did you ever see the original website color scheme for
I don't
Construct
think
3D?
so. But see,
It was just it
that's
was blue on
using
blue on blue on blue on blue. It was bad.
that's using
How I
AI
chose the
in
other
the right way.
color was I gave it a print screen. I was like, hey, make it look like this. And I told it the rough color spectrum that we have a printer made of wood, so I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't confuse the AI. And this is our blue color. And then it actually gave me 4 colors that work in a flow: darker blue, a beige, a like a dirty brown, like what I'm wearing now, and a couple other things. And that's what ended up being the color scheme for the current website.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good use of the tool. And that's the thing that a lot of people kind of sleep on is AI art doesn't have to be the one click start to end. It can be a part of the process. It could be the entire process. But even in that process, you can have sub processes like, how do you ask the AI to do it? Do you give it 500 words of description with references so it can then go and do a thing? That's what I do.
Oh my
And it
God,
works
Randy
great.
Parker. God bless it. The US has the Postal Service to send mail, and the UK has Royal Mail to handle the post.
I think I am having a strong now. Please call a bombulance.
Someone get George Michael. We need a wambulance. All right, I'm calling it.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
so hungry. I've not eaten anything yet today.
I got to go grocery shopping at some point today too. So,
I
all
made
right.
2 a.m. Mac and cheese with like andouille spicy sauce, and it was so nice. And then I've slept it all, and I've ran out of food, so I need to go make something after this.
All right. All right. Let's end it. Let's give away 3 rolls of filament. Then we'll go send these people to go hang out with Mr. Steve Builds. How's that sound?
That's good.
All right. This has been episode 247 of the Making Awesome podcast, where, talk about Core 1L, VFAs, Maker Faire, INDX, Vortec, and more. Hope you all have enjoyed this episode. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. Don't forget to leave a like and get subscribed. And as always, keep making awesome. Have a good one.
Go have fun out there. Go do something good with your life.
All right.
Go
Still stay around,
hydrate.
though, because, we're...
Yeah, don't go hydrate yet. There's a giveaway. Please
there's
don't do
a
that now.
giveaway.
That would be awkward.
This is going to suck, because currently YouTube live chat isn't working, and I have to use Bing. And use Bing. Hang around for the giveaway. Today is the 9th. The 9th. Yeah, we've got I got a lot of travel coming up, man.
Yeah, we need to have the lovely meeting of, are we doing form next? Let's please do it. Let's see how it's possible.
Yeah. Are you gonna go to bed early tonight, you think? What do you think?
Me? Going to
No?
bed early?
I'm so tired.
No.
All right, then most likely. Oh, I don't want to give this man a roll of filament. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I am so mad. This man caused us to have brain aneurysms. I got to give him a damn roll of filament. I've already seen him in the chat. It's Randy Parker.
Hey!
No. I don't want to do it.
Too bad.
Reliance 3D said Olaf.
Oh my god, yes.
He didn't enter. He's not in here. That's funny as hell, though. That's funny as hell. Send it to me in the post. I hate you. I hate you so much. So much. I don't like you. I am so mad at this. A slice of my mind. I always get. I tried tagging them, but it didn't work. We'll see if they're there. God,
Oh my
just
God. No, it gets worse. So Jib just post it to him in the mail, and I realized why the names are different.
why?
Royal Mail is a postal company because the word post is an action, where mail is an item. Royal Mail is the item itself, it's the paper. It is mail, which is why they say you've got mail. But the action of delivering the mail is to post it, which is why the American Postal Service is in the tense of an action. I'm done.
I'm upset. I'm upset, and I don't like it. I am
As Matt Weber
upset.
says, Royal Mail posts the mail.
Well, good, because Matt Weber just won a roll of filament, so DM me or something. Those are our 3 winners for today. Oh my gosh. I mm, mm, mm.
Net7 saying today people learn. No, today people had an aneurysm.
Yeah.
I had a brain hernia.
Bro, same. Freaking same. All right, let's see. Mr. Steve Build is doing a Trident to a Trimax today. So,
Interesting.
all right, y'all. Have fun hanging with Steve. We'll see you later. And if you be at Forum next, we'll hopefully see you there.
Yep.
Bye.
Toodaloo.